everybody. Welcome to Possible Coin. I am Brian Cartwright, keeper of the solo clap. I'm joined by Tegan Somerset, who did not clap.
I did clap. Hey, I did clap. I definitely clapped. I clap every time.
I don't think you believe in fairies, Tegan.
That's mean. That was
no, mean. You can't say that to me. That's so mean. Oh my god. I have to leave. I have to leave immediately. I just rewatched Peter Pan literally yesterday. You cannot say that to me.
Okay, so Tegan's going to take a break. Hi everyone, I'm Rocky Hardy. I don't clap. It's mostly because I edit the show, and I know clapping is obsolete, but they can't hear it, and that's fine. I like for them to believe. Fairies are cool, I guess.
Yo, we should watch Hook.
Yeah, I'm down.
Hook is so good.
Hook is so good. You are correct.
Yeah, you know what? It's also one of those like movies that like hits different the older you get.
Yeah.
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 Am I gonna cry again? Yes. Yes, I am. Will I be ashamed of it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Tears are welcome in this house.
The great thing about crying during Hook, as you get older, it turns into a whole different cry, and then you remember the original cry, and then you cry about that cry.
Oh, what was the original cry?
Like, the original cry is, at least for me, Hook was about being a child with a distant relationship to a parent, you know?
Oh, okay. Sure, yeah.
Right. You watch Hook, and you feel, you're like, man, I don't necessarily want to fucking play catch with this parent, but I do wish I was closer to them, you know, and so there's like that empathy, that shared experience. And then like you reach a point where Hook is about like the forgotten ruins of your childhood. And
no, I'm not ready for that. Oof.
Oh God. Yeah. So it becomes about the forgotten ruins of your childhood, and also not realizing that you have shared experiences with people around you because you're also busy with your own terrible lives.
Well, lucky for me, corporate America keeps trying to sell my childhood back to me, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Rocky, the bad news is, though, it's entirely possible that there are people lined up to try and get your childhood who they will then try and scalp it to you.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, ooh, we don't like those people, though. They're mean.
No, they are not boys.
They are, in fact, garbage. Ugh, man. Good Lord.
We don't fuck with them.
Tegan?
Yeah.
You and I have some shared business this week.
We have shared business? Is this the first time you and I have shared business?
No, we've had shared business in the past, but we don't often have shared business, which is a game that we have both played.
Oh, we both played a game. You mean Resident Evil, don't you?
I do.
I got bad news. I didn't play that game. I just watched it. I did watch someone else play that game. It was Alex. He's very good at video games.
So...
I did? Okay, so here's what happened, okay? Alex got the game release day. Brian's Xbox crapped out release day. So Brian did not get to experience Resident Evil, The Village on release day, and I did. And he was tweeting about Big Mommy Milkers, and I said, Brian, there's so much other fucking stuff going on in that game. And then he got mad at me because he thought I was trying to dig at him for not having access to the game the day it was released, and that's not what I was trying to do at all.
Yeah, you're done with Mommy's Milkers like 2.5 hours into the fucking game.
Yeah, it was so fast. It was so fast.
Like, she gone.
I thought she was going to be, like, later in the game. Not, like, one of the first fucking things you do.
Complete bait and switch. Great work, everyone.
It was.
So, first of all, like, let me say one of the things that I really, really like about this video game.
Mm-hmm.
It's short.
Yes.
So many people out there would, like, take that as a criticism. And to all of those people, you could take that 150 hours that you spent on Red Dead Redemption 2 and shove them right up your ass. I realize that there are people out there who have space in their lives for like these giant, sprawling, expansive games, right? But
not everybody does. And that's
not everybody does. And so like it's really cool to like sit down to like a video game. Like the video game's like, all right, you know, like you're going to be able to polish me off over like 3 nights. And that's cool.
And
like,
that's if you're slow at it.
I'd say it was about 10 hours, right? So, like, if you're dumping, like, maybe 3 hours and change a day into the game.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
We did our runtime was. I know I tweeted about it. I think it was like 20 hours for us, but we were also like trying to get as many collectibles as we could on the first run through. So, it took us a little longer.
So, like, I will not, like, I guess, directly say the thing, because I know some of our listeners have a different philosophy on spoilers than I do. Mm-hmm. I think my philosophy is well stated. But, like, one of the things that really fucking got me was there is an enormous swerve regarding Ethan at the end.
Oh, that's the new philosophy. That also happened in 7.
Yeah. At the end of Village, there is an enormous fucking swerve about Ethan. And what I thought was good, what I thought was really, really good, is that, like, it made me rethink and recontextualize so many moments that happened earlier in the game. Because I was like, oh, if this is true, then this moment in the game feels different now, right?
It's a real Kaiser Soze moment.
Right. Like, at the very, very beginning of the game, you were, like, wandering, like, Ethan's ridiculously gigantic house. You're wandering his, like, huge Zillow porn house in, like, the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Also, turn some damn lights on, Ethan.
No. Absolutely not. We're saving the environment in this house. All the lights are off all the time. Fuck you and your inability to see. I have super eyes. I don't need to see ever.
But his wife, Mia, at one point is, like, hollering at him. And, like, there's some stuff that she's saying that, like, once you think about the stuff that she's saying, in the context of the thing you find out about Ethan at the end, you're like, oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. Ethan's, like, carrying on about their child, little baby Rose. And, like, Mia then says to him, there's other things that we need to talk about, Ethan. We need to talk about you. At the time when you don't know any better, that, like, maybe she's just, like, getting on his balls because he's being this, like, weird, strange, like, nag. He's always talking about Rose. He's like, oh, Rose. It's like he's incapable of talking about anything else.
Which, like, I get that. New parents. It is.
Right.
They talk about their new baby a lot. It's fine.
Right. But then you find out, like, why Mia feels that, like, Ethan should be his own topic of discussion. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, Ethan, you really should maybe be seeing somebody about that.
Right.
Maybe. Just, like, once. Just for, like, 10 minutes. If we could have, like, a nice sit-down conversation about that, be great.
I have a philosophical observation about Resident Evil Village.
Ooh, okay, I'm here. I'm listening.
There was, like, so much internet discourse around this game about how, like, everybody hates Ethan. Game came out, people were, like, immediately like, fuck Ethan forever, he sucks. Ethan sucks. Ethan sucks forever.
Ethan's a dude. Did everyone, like, forget that Ethan was just, like, a regular guy that got sucked into all this? He's not, like, a professional.
Right.
He's not like Chris and everyone else. He's just like, oh, yeah, here we go.
No one should be like Chris, honestly. Jesus Christ.
More men should be like Chris.
What? I feel like it's kind of this, like, this Rorschach test of, like, self-loathing for the internet to, like, hate Ethan. People don't like the everyman expression that, like, Ethan represents. Like, he's not, like, you know how, like, Nathan Drake just gets into shit and ultimately never actually seems fazed by it. He's like, oh, wow, I slid down an entire mountainside and killed 400 guys. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, Master Chief is never bothered by things.
Yeah, but Ethan's out here going, what the fuck? Hey, guys, what the fuck?
Like, things are bad. I guess I'm carrying around my own severed hand. Things are bad. And people seem to, like, resent and dislike this. And that seems more sophisticated than necessarily the kind of horror that Resident Evil was offering at the beginning of the series, which was, like, very much, like, environmental. And, like, now Resident Evil seems to, like, ask the player, now that we're offering a player which is more truly just like an avatar of the self, we've moved to first person, which is making this more like you versus like a character on screen, so that way it's easier to disassociate, and like making the player making the character very, very normal makes it harder for like people to disassociate from the character. And so like there's this huge amount of self-loathing. It feels very, very modern. People hate Ethan because Ethan reminds them of themselves.
I mean, same thing happened with Shinji. I'm not sure if I call the experience modern, but I guess it may be a bit more different since it's an interactive experience. It seems like the opposite of, like, you know, the power fantasy, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, people like their power fantasies, and they hate when they don't get them. That makes sense, I guess.
In a weird way, like, even, like, Dark Souls is ultimately a power fantasy because you're like, look at how fucking rad I am.
Right, yeah.
And there's just no moment in Resident Evil Village where Ethan isn't just, like, this fucking goofball. He's in way over his head. Like, he's always in way over his head. There's no moment in the game where you're like, I'm great. I'm fantastic. Like,
you're like, yeah, Ethan could probably handle this. He's like, no, everything is a nightmare.
I want to get to the point where we're ready to talk about how Resident Evil has actually taken up the torch of the Silent Hill series, but, you know, we'll get there when we get there.
Okay, I'll bite. Where are you going with that, Rocky? That sounds interesting to me.
Okay, well, like, the Silent Hill series, like, actually has a history of, like, very human protagonists, you know, before they try to make movies and stuff.
Right.
And if you really want to get into it, like, the path of, like, Ethan's character development in Resident Evil Village, or not character development, but more like character presentation, very strongly mirrors that of, what was his name? Jack in Silent Hill 2?
Okay.
To a lesser extent, I want to say that, like, there's a lot of Silent Hill in, like, Resident Evil, like, Biohazard. And it just seems to me that, like, their reset is leaning more heavily to, like, the disjointed character narrative and the, like, condensed interactive spaces that Silent Hill had been using, but no longer does for reasons that I don't have the answers to right now.
So I guess if we were, like, trying to hunt down, like, a kernel, a jumping off point for where did this shit start, this modern survival horror model, it feels like Resident Evil Biohazard, which I now do definitely, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Biohazard, whatever, like, I now definitely feel compelled to go back and play because I enjoyed Resident Evil Village so much. Mm-hmm. Is the jumping off point here PT? This, like, first-person, faceless, everyman douchebag experience?
I think it's probably a safer answer, but I want to compare personnel to be sure. Because to be honest, I don't remember anyone that touched, like, PT besides Kojima and, like, Del Toro. Mm-hmm. And, like, they have nothing to do with Capcom anymore. And while there are people that are free to pick up the aesthetic, and that's cool because we've seen it in, like, Returnal and, you know, that slaps, but I'm not entirely sure how, like, contained it is as, like, a jumping off point.
Right.
I think there's definitely, like, some heavy inspo from PT, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, people saw that and went, oh, that's right, we can make this really scary like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a Silent Hill game earlier in the series. I feel bad that I can't immediately remember it, but I feel like there was an earlier game in the Silent Hill series which went first person as, like, the default view. Was it Silent Hill 3 or Silent Hill 4, The Room?
I kind of want to say 3, but I don't remember for sure.
Yeah. Because it feels like the stuff that, like, Resident Evil is doing is not, like...
The Room is the first one.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. I don't think that the stuff that, like, Resident Evil is doing is necessarily drawn from, like, the rise of, like, first-person horror games which have been on Steam over the last few years, you know, like it.
No, yeah, it's definitely not them. No.
Right. There's been like I want to say that there's one which has got, like, pigs in the title. Like, I'm sorry, my brain is dying.
I feel you. Like, we'll find it later.
Yeah. And, like, there's like your Five Nights at Freddy's. And then there's, like, this, like, glut of games where, like, the entirety of the game is, okay, you're basically running from a thing the majority of the time that you're playing.
Right.
These are usually the kind of games that will give you a button to hold your hand over your mouth to avoid screaming.
Also, shoutouts to Evolve. You should have been great, but you weren't. My bad.
Yep. I want to say, like, Ascent, Descent, something like that. I don't know. But, like,
Descent sounds right.
Right. But whatever, this is not those. These are not these, like, would it be fair to call a lot of these games like Twitch bait? Come watch this streamer scream for your amusement games.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
We can use that for now. That's fine.
Yeah. So, like, these are not Twitch bait.
God, it could have been Mixer bait. Rip Mixer.
And also, shout-outs to all the people who stream on Facebook, I guess.
Oh, man. Honestly, I've been, like, low-key considering, like, doing the multi-stream and letting it be on Facebook, but I don't know. Oh, my God.
I tell you what, man. I fear Facebook's angry robots. They're angrier than all the other robots, so I don't even know.
You know what? Deadass, fuck those robots. I'm actually upset. I'm sorry. I'm hijacking this thing. I keep getting copyright strikes from NBC Universal's, like, Creative Commons bullshit. And, like, if anyone, whoever doesn't follow our, like, Facebook presence, we post the show in its entirety as a video on Facebook every week. But it's not actually a video. It's just the audio and, like, the week's thumbnail as, like, the persistent image. But I'll get a copyright strike, like, fucking, I don't know, every 2 or 3 weeks from these NBC Universal dipshits. It's clearly some sort of algorithm that doesn't know its fucking lane. That's like, hey, 11 minutes and 34 seconds of this video is copyrighted by NBC Universal. And I'm like, this is a fucking screenshot. Get the fuck out of my mentions. And so, like, at first, I try to take them very seriously. It's like, hey, guys, I don't know if you've watched this at all, but this is definitely just a single image. It's not a video at all. And even if it was a video, and even if it did belong to NBC Universal, this is fair use. And so we have the right to put it on this platform. And then, like, 48 hours later, they're like, oh, yeah, my bad. And then they keep doing it. So now I'm just like, hey, this is fair use. Fuck off. Leave me alone. And then, like, 2 days later, they're like, you're right. This is fair use. And it's just, I'm sick of it. Like, fucking stop. Get the fuck out of here.
Please, what if you didn't? Train your robot. Get your fucking dog, bitch.
I think the most recent one, like, the meme of the blonde lady and the kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
I think that the blonde lady's from a reality show.
Yeah, you are correct.
Right. And I think that the parent corporation that produced that reality show is owned by NBC Universal. And I'm just sitting there going, like, holy shit. Are y'all literally out here trying to fucking claim this meme?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, you don't own this fucking meme. Like, get out of my face with this noise.
Oh my God. Like,
did you NFT this meme when I wasn't looking?
I've thought that, like, maybe we should, like, reach out to Saj to get, like, new news music, because news music has for a long time been a plague of the show, because what'll happen is some other dipshit will use the same royalty-free news music that we do. And then, like, I think I remember the last time that we had, like, an imbroglio over it, where, like, some fucker was like, hey, I'll teach you how to be rich. And he had, like, one of those predatory, like, wealth podcasts.
Yeah.
And his fucking robot came for us over the news music.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like, just, it's the opposite of great. Basically, fuck the robots.
Yeah, these aren't the robots that we want in the future.
Tegan, tell us about the kinds of robots we want in the future.
We want robots like my son Connor, the android senpai cyber life. And 9S. We also want 9S.
Tegan, does your desire to be a robot grow stronger with every passing day?
I mean, quite possibly, yes. It is one of my many desires.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to show my face. I don't like my face. I don't like real people knowing my face. I don't know how to phrase this. I don't want strangers on the internet to know my face if I haven't put it out there on purpose for consumption. But I don't want to put myself out there for consumption while playing a video game. So I don't want to play video games on the internet where you can see my face. And so the desire to become a VTuber grows stronger with every day.
I mean, for sure.
I had to figure out how to fucking say that, because, like, I post cosplay photos on the internet.
But that's like a curated Tegan.
Yeah. That's, like, full face of makeup, photographed in a comfortable setting with my friends, having a good time, Tegan, not, watch me fucking beef it on this Dark Souls level for the 5th time, Tegan. Who is definitely a different Tegan.
I'm sorry, did you say beef it on this Dark Souls level?
Yeah. I did say beef it on this Dark Souls level. Alex is trying to teach me how to play Dark Souls. It's not going well.
Oh,
Tegan, I have the hot strat on the correct way to play Dark Souls.
Okay, tell me about it.
Here we go.
Once a year, attempt to play Dark Souls, get bummed out, and then don't play Dark Souls again for a year.
I mean, you know what? That sounds about like what I'm ready to do. We've come to some important conclusions on that front, and I wanted to ask you guys, and I guess I wasn't going to ask you on the show, but now I'm just going to ask you on the show.
Okay.
Would it be cool if I did a Patreon episode that was me and Alex talking about the different Dark Souls-like games?
I have beef for that. Sounds cool.
Because we've come to the conclusion that we don't like Neo. Neo is a bad game.
A lot of people don't like Neo.
Yeah, Neo's a bad game.
Well, I have a game for Alex to play, which I am currently playing.
Okay. Is it Neo? Is it Neo 2? No. Because the answer is also no. We don't like Neo 2.
Brian is currently playing Brian's first Souls-like.
Oh, okay.
I guess my first Souls-like that I haven't gone like, you know what? Fuck this and
Fuck
put
this
it down.
Game.
You're right. After like 2 or 3 days of like sustained abuse, I am currently playing Pascal's Wager.
Oh, okay. I will. Hang on. Let me write that down. I don't have to write that down. It's on the show doc. No, it's not. You lied to me. Not. You said you were currently playing a game and that wasn't listed on the show doc, Brian.
I guess he wasn't planning on talking.
Tegan, every day we make choices, Tegan.
Every day we make choices, and every day I choose violence. No, it's okay.
Jesus
okay, Pascal's choice.
Wager.
Pascal's wager choice. Pascal's all-you-can-eat buffet. No, wager. I almost wrote choice.
Yes.
Fuck. Pascal's wager. Okay, wrote it down. What is it?
Yeah.
What is it Souls-like?
It's a shameless Dark Souls clone on iOS.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. First of all, Rocky, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. If it's shameless about anything, it's shameless about its relationship with The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
The protagonist in the game has incredibly strong Geralt of Rivia vibes, and his sidekick has like very, very strong Ciri vibes. So like there's a very, very like potent Witcher vibe. So I guess the first question I offer the court is, for years people referred to first-person shooters as Doom clones. That was the language that was used in criticism to describe games that were not Doom, that were first-person shooters. People were like, "Oh, these are Doom clones." People called Hexen a Doom clone. People called Duke Nukem a Doom clone. It was a while before games criticism had the language to discuss the idea of a first-person shooter without like saying that the idea of being a shooter that was in first person was entirely derivative of Doom. And I think that something that might be interesting to like hear people explore in the context of like an episode all about this genre is like trying to develop the language to describe these games in a way that doesn't just say that like anyone that isn't Dark Souls is it just entirely derivative of Dark Souls. Right. Like it's pretty clear to like hear like, okay, like that if Tegan and Alex have no taste for Neo, there's obviously a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
There's obviously stuff that the game is doing, like even though the game superficially is using a lot of the same like technical structure,
yeah,
then like what is it doing which is bad? It's
not always necessarily like the things it's doing is bad. It can also be that the things it's not doing are bad.
Right.
Are like bad for the experience.
Right.
Dark Souls definitely carries its own water.
Right.
Dark Souls is in 4-4. If you know music, you can do it, apparently. Says Alex, the 5th time I die in a row to the same fucking thing.
Well, also, like, I feel like Dark Souls, much like learning actual music, has a very punishing way of teaching you basic rhythm.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Once you know 4-4, you can do it forever. You can do it probably on just about anything because it's 4-4. But until you understand 4-4, none of it's going to make any sense.
That's accurate, yeah. Also, I am at a slight disadvantage in that the Xbox controller is a little bit big for my hand, so it doesn't sit. I
Mhm.
can't hold it comfortably.
I feel, man, like, are there alternate controllers for the Xbox? Because, like, that is a common complaint.
Like, you can get, like, an off-brand Xbox controller, you know? Like like one of those, like, rock candies or whatever, and those are a little bit smaller, but they're not much smaller. You know?
Here's a hot pro tip.
Yeah.
There is a thing called a Cronus Max, which plugs into the USB port of an Xbox Series X, right? And once you plug in your Cronus Max, your Xbox Series X will then be able to recognize a PlayStation controller.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fucking, what's his name? Punk used one to, like, play, like, on an Xbox controller at EVO, and, like, EVO only uses, like, PlayStation stuff. You can plug them into, like, anything.
Right. So if you're just more comfortable using the PlayStation controllers, then that could be a way to go.
I mean, I'm most comfortable using the Switch controller because it's the tiniest one. That one fits
like
in my
Pro
hands
controller
just
or,
fine.
like-
No, like the two Joy-Cons.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one's trickier.
Yeah, it is,
There's a way to do it, because, like, they both use infrared.
The Cronus Max does support Switch controllers.
Oh, okay, cool.
Even Joy-Cons?
Yup.
Cool.
Wild.
Alrighty.
Yeah, since those things run off of Bluetooth, then it's fine.
That would make my life
I thought they
so
used
much
infrared.
easier.
Yeah.
Honestly. 'Cause then it's just button mapping, and I can remap buttons, but like... meh.
Yep. Yeah, like once you do the initial setup, like you'll need to like set up the Cronus Max on a PC, but once you have it set up, you are GTG.
I could play controller games on PC with a Switch controller?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Whoa, I just got good at shooters!
God, I hope you can map, like, gyro aiming
Yo.
to, like, your PC.
Could you
That actually
imagine?
be nuts.
Dude.
I'm still waiting for the Splatoon kids to take on Apex.
A lot of times that'll depend on the game. Like, I know that, I believe it's like PC COD actually will allow you to map gyro, which I think is hilarious. Like, because it's just Call of Duty being like, can we get some of these squid kids to play this fucking game?
Dude, could you imagine you come in with your little, like, woomy sound and just fucking wipe the floor with all these COD players? Dude, that'd be great. I'd love to see it. Won't be me,
Okay.
but I'd love to see it.
So, I guess I could tell you the reasons that and first of all, Pascal's Wager is available on PC.
Okay.
So, like, you do not need to play it on a phone. And I think that it's also available on console. I think it is available, I believe, on either
Stadia?
PS4.
It's on Stadia.
But, like, things I like about it include, like, it has a sanity system, which is, like, very reminiscent of Eternal Darkness.
Ooh, okay.
And, like, I love, like, landscapes that change as your character loses their grip on sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the world is going to look different and the things are going to be different for me as a player because I'm going insane, then, like, I'm into it. And I think that, like, I have been on the record several times on this show saying, like, I like sanity as a game mechanic. Also, things about Pascal's Wager that I like is that Pascal's Wager has a pause button. I am allowed to pause in Pascal's Wager, which I like a lot. Also, the game allows you to move up and down the difficulty. So, like, there have definitely been times where, like, I have gotten to bosses where I've been like, you know what? I just no. And I've bumped it down, and then once I pass the boss, we'll bump it back up.
Okay. That's kind of nice.
Right, and that's something which is not commonly available for this kind of game experience. And so, like, where I think it becomes, like, interesting conversationally is I know that there are a lot of people who like this genre who say that games are no longer part of this genre if they support features like difficulty settings and pause buttons, which I think is like a crock of shit. But, like, some people have a different opinion. And, like, so I would be interested to get opinions of people who have played a lot of these on this game because it does have those features. And, like, is there any kind of belief that it diminishes the experience? And, like, if so, why? And if not, like, why not? Like, it's neat. It's a neat game. Like, it's an incredibly small dev team. They're from China. And so to like see something which is this like strange blending of Witcher aesthetic, Eternal Darkness aesthetic, Dark Souls aesthetic, all seen through like the prism of like the Chinese cultural experience is like pretty wild. It was enough to like get me in there and be like, okay, I will fuck with you, Pascal's wager.
I do want to say that Sandy is also a mechanic in the Dark Souls series. Not Dark Souls in particular, I think, but definitely Bloodborne and I think Dark Souls 3, but I have to check again.
Right. It's a thing that shows up, I guess, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an optional bullet point, I guess. I'm interested. Like, these are games I normally look at from afar.
Oh, okay. Well, they're games I normally look at from the side. Because I sit on one side of the TV, so I see it from an angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not... it's hard. Dark Souls hard. Alex makes it look so easy, it's not fair. But he has a lot of very interesting, very nuanced opinions. As someone who has played all of the games and has very much the opinions of how they work and why they work and what they don't do and what they do. So, like, we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, oh, I feel like this sounds like a bonus episode that we would give. Let me see if the boys will let me do that. Maybe I'll just have him sit here and do the bonus episode with you two, and you can talk to him about his nuanced opinions.
Speaking of bonus episodes, if you're a Patreon subscriber, then you got a bonus episode last Wednesday all about the anime. That sounds like a great reason for someone to go to patreon.com/Impossible Coin Podcast and give us money so that way they can get great bonus content like anime and Dark Souls and stuff, and possibly pictures of Tegan's feet, but that's up to you, the person with the money.
Yeah, and honestly, if you give us that money and you don't want the feet pics, that's cool. I'm cool with that also.
You'll just have to let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
Be yelling across the room like, Tegan, stop the feed machine. They don't want the pics. They want the pics.
I'm like, guys, we'll just keep calling
machine.
it. We'll keep calling it the greatest regret.
The greatest regret, yeah.
And we just won't include the feed pics. We'll be like, the first person who got this said they didn't want them, so now you have to specify if you want them or not.
And if you had been subscribed to our Patreon 2 weeks ago, then you would have gotten an entire fucking video game for free.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do that again in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
But for now, if you sign up for our Patreon, you'll get access to all of the bonus episodes that already exist. And all of the ones that will be upcoming. There is some content there.
Yeah.
At least enough for, like, a decent road trip.
Definitely. Tegan, what's this about you getting married on Zoom?
No, I didn't get married on Zoom. My friend got married on Zoom, and
She attended a Zoom
Yeah, it says attended. I did not get married on Zoom.
I did a bit.
Oh, I see.
I know.
Okay. You did a bit where you didn't read because I didn't read and messed up the timing today.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And then I just did a bit where I poked fun at you, and you thought I wasn't poking fun at you, and I'm sorry. Anyway, so one of my coworkers got married, and you could come in person, or you could attend over Zoom. And Alex and I opted to attend over Zoom, even though we were both going to be fully vaccinated at the time, for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to the entire personal pan pizza that we're still involving ourselves with. So we attended virtually, and it was very fun. We were one of, 3 or 5 people who attended virtually. There was someone's, dad who had their kid, watching in the seat part, in the chair. And then he was, sort of behind him. So, I don't know how closely he was watching, but, And it was, 15 minutes, and it was really nice and kind of silly, the ceremony itself, because her older brother was the officiant. And then they were like, all right, and so now we're going to go to that building over there for the reception. See you there in, however long it takes you to walk over there. And then the Zoom ended. It was fun.
See, I would say that what they would need to do is then set up the Zoom at the reception and maybe put it on the desk where the registration book is, or maybe by the buffet or something
Right, so you can be hello.
Yeah.
You got to put it at a table with a view of the DJ booth and the dance floor. It's crucial.
Along with that, you have to make sure that the cake is able to be wheeled out onto the dance floor, which they don't always do. So that the people on the Zoom call can still see, the cutting of the cake. But there were the bars, the amount of bars that they had was not great, so that's okay. They did do a neat thing where at the beginning they were like, once everyone's up here, we're going to tell everybody that now you can take your pictures, and then after that, put your phone away. And I was like, oh, okay. So, like, they did that, and I'm sitting at home, and I, like, get my phone out, and Alex is like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to take a picture while they have the picture time up. And he was like, you realize we are at home. You can take the pictures, no one will know. And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I am a fool and a buffoon. Click. Now I gotta wait until the ceremony is over so I can post it on Instagram so that she knows I was there. Good time. 10 out of 10. Zoom etiquette, wedding, great. Honestly, sorry, Madeline, I was in my pajamas. 4 of my other coworkers were actually, like, physically at the wedding. So, a little bummed I didn't get to hang out with them, but that's okay. I don't feel like eating in a crowded room, you know? So, feel very weird about the whole panorama with the whole CDCs. Don't know how I like that.
Yeah. That's going to be a whole thing.
I honestly feel like the CDC was sitting around with a graph about money, and it bothers me. And it also bothers me that, like, that now, in theory, someone could just, like, stroll into, like, any given business and be like, hey, everybody, I'm fully vaccinated. And the CDC has, like, armed people like Ricky Schroeder to be louder pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm. I hope that the CDC is like, yeah, you can take your mask off. And businesses who actually give a shit are like, no, you can't. Company policy. Can't do that.
I mean, plenty of businesses are already like that. There's been a swath of, like, companies in, like, my local area that have been like, hey, we know the CDC said that if you're fully vaccinated, you probably don't need to wear a mask in indoor settings, but I'm not going to check your cards. And so if you want to come in and patronize my business, you need to be wearing a mask. But the bigger problem is that, like, these large conglomerates that don't want to go through that hassle, that arguably maybe could demand these kinds of checks or whatever, are shifting completely to the honor system.
Right.
After a whole year of spending a lot longer in this panorama than we needed to, I don't trust my fellow man, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, goodbye. Nope. I'm not into relying on the honor system at this point. It's not happening. You cannot convince me. Goodbye. So, yeah. Zoom wedding.
What good is an honor system if half the people have no honor?
Yeah. Wolves and rabbits. Jeez.
Like, I saw that video that fucking Ricky Schroeder took at a Costco earlier today, and man, it bothered me. Number one, fuck Ricky Schroeder.
Who's Ricky Schroeder?
Ricky Schroeder was the little kid from the 80s sitcom Silver Spoons. He grew up to be a piece of shit, and, like...
He was in a sitcom called Silver Spoons. I don't know what you expected.
I only saw the anime, but the anime was good.
Wait a minute. What is this bit?
There's an anime called Silver Spoon. It has no relation to the 80s sitcom.
Okay. So, like, Ricky Schroeder most recently made headlines when he contributed to Kyle Rittenhouse's bail money.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Right. So he was, like, harassing the manager of a Costco today in California.
Sure.
Because he wanted to enter the Costco without wearing a mask.
I thought Costco was one of the ones that were going to do the honor system.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that, like, Costco also is acknowledging whenever, like, local municipalities have stricter guidance than the CDC.
For sure.
And the state of California has stricter guidance than the CDC.
Right.
And so Costco is not going to, like, run policy which is contrary to state law.
Right.
And so Ricky Schroeder's trying to cruise into the fucking Costco being a dickhead, and he's like, Costco doesn't require masks. And so the Costco manager's like, well, sir, the state of California does, and so Costco in California does.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just fucking Ricky Schroeder just going at it. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I know that this new CDC guidance is going to be exhausting and terrible for people who, like, work in the service industry now, and it's just so bad. It's so bad. Please leave these people alone. They did not deserve anybody like in their face shouting at them. Don't shout at these people.
No, they did shout at them.
Yeah, I mean, people have been shouting at service workers throughout the entire pandemic and before then, and will continue to do it after them because people fucking suck.
Yeah, that's why people are not going to take these Burger King jobs anymore.
You know, I was thinking about it, and I was like, is there a wage that GameStop could pay me that would make me go back to work there? And the answer is no. No, there isn't.
Tegan, what if they paid you $75,000 a year?
If they paid me $75,000 an hour, I wouldn't go back.
Ooh, okay. All right. Oh, did you hear that Matthew McConaughey is like trying to be a senator? Did you guys hear that shit?
Who?
Wait, what?
What?
Or was that just some weird fever dream that I had?
I hope it was both. I hope you had it as a fever dream and today it was announced.
Nope. Okay, Matthew McConaughey making calls about running for Texas governor. Excuse me, governor of Texas. Fucking piece of shit. God damn it.
No.
You know what that means, Brian, because that's just a hop and a skip for him trying to run for president. Like, Schwarzenegger could have never ran for president, even though he got California governor. But, like, Matthew McConaughey absolutely could run for president. Like, imagine a ticket, let's say he wins this next cycle. So it'd probably be somewhere around 2028. The Rock and Matthew McConaughey for president.
So, all right, I'm picturing some like nightmare situation where there's a stage, and on that stage is Matthew McConaughey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Caitlyn Jenner, and Hatsune Miku.
Hey, don't bring Miku into this, okay?
All right, Rocky.
Okay,
I
wait,
have
no. Hatsune Miku can be the moderator. She could not legally run for the position of president of the United States because she's a Japanese product born in Japan and would never be a United States citizen.
Okay.
So Hatsune Miku could be the moderator, so she could be on the stage, and she'd be able to do a socially distanced debate because she could be everywhere at once and right next to the people that she's asking the question to.
Okay, so then our candidates on stage are Matthew McConaughey, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Caitlyn Jenner, and Garfield the cat who hates Mondays.
Yes,
there we
okay.
go. Yeah, for sure.
I vote for Garfield.
Don't vote for Garfield!
Voting for Garfield. Garfield has my vote.
God.
He was also a Deals Warlock.
Oh, God.
He shows up with a copy of Art of the Deal. Some bullshit.
Garfield runs on a platform of shortening the week to 6 days.
Oh my God.
We're going to go straight from Sundays to Tuesdays.
Still keeps the 40-hour work week, though. So, like, you know.
That's what he
everyone
does.
just works 4x10s.
A lasagna in every oven, but you still have to pay for it.
Oh, God.
It's just access to lasagnas. That's what we promised, okay? Everyone should have access to lasagna.
Pull yourself up by your pasta.
Lasagna becomes the new lobster.
Veterinary visits are no longer required by the states.
Oh, no. Like, imagine going to a restaurant and you look at the lasagna price and it says market price.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Market price lasagna, guys.
Jesus fucking Christ. No. The last thing before we descend into fucking Mad Max lifestyles is market price lasagna. God damn it.
I saw this TikTok last week that's still fucking me up. There's this person who does like, educational TikToks. And she's like educating people that like the G in lasagna is not actually silent because GN makes like the Enya sound, like the N with a tilde.
Yeah, then yeah.
Yeah. And then like the video that she was sending, because she was summarizing like what happened in that video. And then the reason she made the video was because she was linking a comment from the original video where someone says, wait, are you telling me that I should stop pronouncing gnocchi as G-gnocchi? And then like she like turns and the whole screen's vibrating. And it's like, I'm sorry, you're pronouncing it as what? Like, oh God.
Tegan, it says here that you're opposed to change.
I am opposed to change, yeah, in a number of ways. First of all, I was pronouncing it Gnocchi. I started doing that as a joke, and now I cannot stop. I think you should know that. So that's one thing I will not be changing. It will be called a Gnocchi. But also, Discord announced that they're changing their color, they're changing their purple, and they're changing their font. And as someone who's grown up on Tumblr, and freaked out every time the Tumblr background blue changed. I do not accept change well.
That makes sense, actually.
And I hate this new color. It's harsh. And I hate this new font. It's hard to read. I don't like it. It needs to go back to a different color. Like, I get why they're doing it. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good color. I think it makes it harder to see their logo on the little thing. But what do I know about anything, I guess?
We do need a font consultant.
They do need a font consultant. It's not a good font. Like, when you have a font where all of the letters are about the same size, most of them have the same general shape, that makes it inherently difficult for people to read, let alone people who have actual like processing disorders. So, this is a no from me, dog.
So, like, Discord said that their reason for changing the logo and the masthead, like, because they changed their logo, they changed the typeface for the word Discord, and they softened the color. They said this was to make the presentation, quote, friendlier.
How is it?
Friendlier.
Friendlier to who?
I mean, they're always trying to be friendlier. You know them. You know the vibes.
I don't get it. There seems to be this, like, trend in corporate branding where they're like, yes, everything must be clean and simple. And, like, I did not think that, like, Discord's, like, masthead and logo were complicated enough to get caught in this wave of clean and simple that is going on. Like, how the fuck was Discord's presentation not clean and simple before?
Not to be confused with the 2000 smash hit by Utada Hikaru, Simple and Clean.
Right. This is the modern corporate branding thing where you're like, sand the edges off of everything.
Yeah, it's not good. It's too round. And it's not round in a friendly way. It's not a friendly round. It's a deceptive round. You know?
I do.
I don't like it. I'm opposed. I would like to let it be known that I am opposed to change.
The record so shall reflect.
Cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. There was a thing that I did, though, this week that I didn't put on my list.
Okay.
And that is I watched Rocky play a bunch of games on Twitch. So if you didn't know, Rocky's been streaming on our Twitch channel. We have one of those. It's also at Impossible Coin. You know, just like everything else we have, because we went out and we secured all those ats like a smart person.
We actually did with the Patreon, too. Like, gotta give Brian credit for that one.
We do not have to give Brian credit for that one, because he then proceeded to fuck it up.
No, he just forgot.
That's all it was.
That's okay. It's
you
funnier
did it, like,
that way.
3 years before we needed it, and it was like, oh man, I better get on this right now. And
Yeah, we secured it, and then we secured the thing that was probably gonna get stolen to try and steal money from our listeners. We got them both, so don't worry about it. They're both ours.
I mean, honestly, when I play video games, I forget that I have stuff on me all the time. In fact, Tegan brought it up this week. It may actually be the quintessential gamer experience to forget the things that you already have on you.
Forgotten inventory?
Yeah, exactly. So you get it.
What did I remind you that you had? I don't remember. I've forgotten
I had like
what
a
I remembered.
super in like Fate Tactics or something. But yeah, most of the stuff I've been playing is demos, because that's the season that I'm in. I didn't jump in on Mommy Milkers. In fact, I still have House and Fata Morgana on my Switch that I have not booted up once, but I will at some point in the future. I played the Sonic Omens demo, which is formerly Sonic 2020. It made some headlines this past week because it's good, and people realize it's a fan game that's potentially making money. And Sega said it's cool as long as you guys aren't profiting. So we'll see how that goes. But the game itself is very much an early stages Sonic game. It is fast and it's fluid. It looks really pretty. Mm-hmm. There are bugs all over the place and maybe some design issues that make it difficult to move through stages efficiently in the classic like Sonic vibes. I feel like if I spent more time like replaying the levels, I would get to like the sort of flow that you want to get to in Sonic levels. But pretty much after like the first like 2 levels, I had a lot of trouble getting through things like cleanly. And there was like this one level where like I was trying to scale this giant tree as Sonic. And like occasionally I would just fall off to the bottom, losing like minutes of progress, and found it was easier for me to just find a way to die at the bottom of the tree so I could return to my checkpoint than like try to just get back up there manually, which did not feel good.
Yeah.
I also had an extreme amount of trouble piloting Tails' airplane once I got to the section where there were air currents that were interfering with my flight path. I think Tegan actually watched me struggle for about half an hour to try to fly through these, like, individual, like, opening and closing gates.
I did. And you kept smashing Tails into them or letting them close on Tails. And I was like, you can't do that. He is a child. You have to protect him. And then he would just run into it again.
It was really rough. Like, the thing about it is that, like, at first you're just, like, flying, and I didn't realize that was just the tutorial, otherwise I would have paid more attention. Because the next section I got into where I started to dive for, like, the next 45 minutes, pretty much every time you entered a new room with Tails on the plane, you'd have an air current like blowing you from a different direction. Mm-hmm. So like every time I got into a different room, I had to like try to piece together where the air current was coming from and then adjust my flight path accordingly while dealing with these like obstacles. And that was fucking rough. I haven't tried it again since. And then I got to, like, the shadow levels, which were kind of cool. They're very much like Sonic Plus. It's like Sonic with, like, bonus powers. And the bonus powers are cool. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I just felt like I was, like, so bushed from the Tails stuff that I didn't really get to enjoy too much of it.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I looked at the specs, like, for the minimum requirements of this thing.
Sure.
Like, they seem very high.
I believe that. That makes sense to me.
Like, and I have to wonder, like, is it because this game is a mess?
I think it's because it's like, it's really high fidelity, but maybe there are parts of it that aren't like really optimized. I'd be willing to believe that.
Mm.
Yeah. Like I went and I watched some footage and I was like, this game looks very attractive, but like, I don't see anything happening here that is suggestive of like the specs required. Mm. And I wonder if this is just like, they need more people working on this project so that way it can be optimized better. But like, Jesus Christ, like, so good on Sega to, you know, get out there and be like, hey guys, like, we're totally cool with fan games. Like, fan games are great. Like, and then to go so far as to say, like, we just ask that you not make a profit off of fan games. So these fucking Sonic Omens people are treading a line.
Yes.
With that Patreon. They are treading a fucking line.
Mm.
There is so much, like, good grace that like Sega has with, and again, and this is also different too. I need to clarify here. There's so much good grace that Sega of America has, you know, with its fandom community, because like the frequent like engaged language that happens between like Sega and its fan community is not Sega of Japan. It is Sega of America. I really hope that these Sonic Omens people don't like fuck it up for everybody, you know?
I'm pretty sure they won't.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And then, you know, I've messed around with some other demos. I think Brian was there when I played Adventure. And it definitely feels like a Mother-like, I guess. Pretty standard RPG combat with a lot of jokes. Their deal is that the protagonist is a moodmancer. And they're able to, like, use their abilities to affect the moods of themselves and their opponents. After tooling with it a bit more, basically, like, if you're in a good mood, you're harder to damage. And harder to, like, you know, status, essentially. But in your bad mood, you're easier to status, but you're able to deal more damage with your attacks. You also have, like, the option of, like, sparing or killing anything in the game. And they definitely started with a tagline that said, like, every action you take, like, affects, like, the ending, which is, you know, classic marketing. I just don't know how many endings you really get out of, like, at least the demo playthrough so far. I didn't really feel that much about it. Mm-hmm. Maybe the moment-to-moment experience would be different if you decided to, like, let the protagonist be a dick or, like, try to, you know, play the hero. But I don't know how much it actually, like, conveyed in, like, narrative, at least as far as what I could tell. Yesterday, I played a bit of Flowstone Saga, which is another RPG with a unique combat system. But this combat system basically turns every RPG battle into Tetris. You get to choose, like, a loadout of, like, Tetris pieces. The game calls them Flowstones. Your, like, build and abilities is, like, set up to, like, fight multiple monsters in, like, an RPG, like, format, but as Tetris. The game mixes in addition to like the Tetris pieces, like these kind of like jewel pieces, I can't remember what they're called right now, that empower your attacks, especially if you like link them together. So it's supposed to like influence like the placement of your Tetris pieces, your Flowstones, as like you arrange them across the board. And obviously, like clearing more lines at once deal more damage. There's also like if you get low on health, the game will like populate a like green orb that you can pop to heal yourself, which is nice. I played through it on the easy difficulty, and it was pretty fun and even somewhat challenging at times, although like I didn't realize I could heal while I was in battles. I started playing heroic on it the other day on stream, and that was also pretty tricky. But I also messed around with some of like the non-standard Tetris pieces, which like give you more blocks, but also give you more of the gems to like, as like a trade-off. But then, like, you're playing Tetris with, like, non-standard blocks that are larger and obviously harder to place and set up for. And so those things were really interesting to mess around with. I really want to spend more time with it, see, like, what, like, the edge of, like, that kind of gameplay looks like. As far as the demo, which is available on itch and, like, on their Kickstarter, and in the show doc, if you subscribe to our Patreon, Jesus.
Those are words, and you did say them eventually.
Eventually, fuck. And the demo itself, they said that, like, on their development side, they've already done about 80% of the story. Like, they figured out, like, the sequence of events. But a lot of things like gameplay and, like, animations and, cutscenes and stuff like that is what they're really doing the Kickstarter for. And this Kickstarter is not their first Kickstarter. In fact, they tried to do it last July, August, I believe. And they only got about half funded. Since then, they have, improved their demo, and they've added something called a hold function, which is different from what hold means in Tetris, where you get to, like, keep a piece on the side. That's actually a thing that doesn't exist in this game, really. I mean, you can throw away a piece to hit a monster, which is arguably just about as good given the context, but it's not the same.
Right.
But hold in this context means that there's just no gravity to the Tetris pieces. So, like, the monsters, they'll still attack, like, on their intervals and whatnot, but instead of, like, having pieces constantly come down and, like, the stress that comes with over time, the pieces will basically float indefinitely, and you can just place them wherever you want. And so that makes things like fitting into tighter spaces, like, easier. Personally, it's not my favorite way to play. I'm actually cool with, like, the general Tetris aesthetic as it stands. But it's definitely a significant accessibility tool that a lot of people have responded positively to. The other thing, wait, did I already say that I was going to get a Switch port? Because that was the other thing that they added coming into this Kickstarter. That they confirmed that there will be a version of it on Switch when the game releases. And so, like, at, I think, $25, you can get a digital copy of the game and or a Switch key. I don't remember if they, like, actually specified. But, yeah, if you find that interesting, maybe mess around with the demo. And if you like the project and you want to support it, then give them a couple bucks on Kickstarter. Check it out.
Appears to me that there's a Kickstarter tier that includes cool-looking plushies. So if you want plushies, those can be had.
Oh, man. How far down are the plushies?
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
$80.
For sure.
At $80, you get 2 game keys, beta access. You get an in-game item, character, or location named after you. 2 copies of the soundtrack, 2 digital art books, your name in the game credits, 2 backer exclusive wallpapers, the plush, and a Nintendo Switch key. So you're getting 3 copies of the game, essentially, because you're getting 2 Steam keys and a Nintendo Switch key. So I guess you've got a bunch of shit you can give away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad for $80. That's a pretty solid tier.
Yeah.
I didn't mention before, but yeah, Odd Venture also has a Patreon. They're doing all right. I think, actually, I can't remember if they're funded already, but I'll check later. And then there are 2 games that I wanted to check out, because there's a group of developers who so love what Paper Mario did for video games that they have dedicated themselves to making games, like, in their spirit. I talked about one last year, which was Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling.
Mm-hmm.
And there are several more in development. And recently, I think about maybe a month ago, they did an event which they called a Paper Direct in the style of Nintendo Directs, where they showcase the various games that are kind of like homages or like inspired by like Paper Mario and that series of games. And a couple of them had demos that were playable, and I wanted to play them. So I played Lifelike and Born of Bread on stream. Lifelike kind of looks a bit like Mother or like Undertale, but it plays completely off of like an action command system. It is a world that is magical, and there was a man who's the protagonist's grandfather who was so obsessed with magic and like bringing things to life that he brought appliances to life. And shortly before he died, he apparently created some sort of situation where these appliances would come to life spontaneously. Since magic isn't uncommon in this world, a group of magic users grouped together to form an organization called Animate Control, which allowed them to try to respond to situations where like appliances and other mundane objects would like animate and like, you know, attack people or just be generally like annoying. There's a fun story where the protagonist's mother left a note for them telling them that they made a burrito for them and put it in the microwave, but the microwave ran off before they went to work. So please try to catch the microwave when you can.
Yep.
You can keep the burrito. It's up to you.
Brian, you would like this game.
Yeah. And so, like, you play through a specific mission where the protagonist is awakened on his day off. He works for Animate Control. And he's told that there's an incident and they have been asked for specifically. So he has to go into work. And on the way, there are a handful of people who are dealing with animates. There's a woman who's skeptical of a fire hydrant that seems to be moving. There's a mailman who wants you to deal with an animated mailbox, and he's sick of it because it's the third mailbox this week, and so on and so forth. Eventually, the call takes you to your grandfather's old workshop, which you haven't been at in nearly a decade and a half. Once you're there, there's like scattered like notes on the ground that seem to tell a story that the protagonist had been estranged from his grandfather in his youth because his grandfather was using him for experiments and his parents did not approve. And eventually you make your way into the basement and you find that there is a unique form of animates called a Lifelike, which is a appliance that now has taken on some sort of humanoid form. And there's one attacking another. There's a record player attacking a radio. You end up having to fight off the record player, and the radio tells you that he was created by your grandfather, and he needs your help in like staying secret and being safe. And he called Animate Control and asked you specifically because you were the only person that probably wouldn't kill him on sight because of his relationship to his grandfather. And that's where the demo ends. It like takes a really sharp turn at that one point where it really like gets suddenly creepy in a way that like Thousand Year Door did pretty well. So I'm interested in seeing more from this game. The demo is free. It's available on itch. And I'm not sure if there are more episodes of the game, but they do have like an early access version available for about $10. So I'm assuming there are more episodes of this game that are currently available.
And itch is that place which has content which is so horrifying and scandalous we can't even name it here, right?
What? No, this is our podcast. We no gods, no masters, Brian.
Not yet, anyway.
Talk about Horny Dungeon however you want.
Okay.
For the right price, we will shill. Don't forget.
Okay.
And the other paper like I played was Born of Bread, which looks really good. And this is a demo that actually doesn't look like, say, like the first level of the game or anything like that. It actually looks like a vertical slice of the game and like what they want to show to us. I did kind of get a bit confused when I was messing with it because it says that the game was meant to play with controller and it wanted me to check like a keyboard thing. And I have a controller that works on my PC, but the demo doesn't read it. And I didn't realize that's what they were trying to communicate initially. But it's fully keyboard. And you play as Loaf, who is, Brian, get this. Loaf is a flour golem, right? So he's an animated piece of flour in the shape of a humanoid. And he's on a history trip with his professor to this like remote like forest and like the accompanying ruins. And he and his raccoon companion Lint get roped into an adventure where two raccoons, not Lint, had stolen the keys to the bus. So they have to go on this like roundabout adventure to try to recover the key so they can leave like the forest later. And you like travel through the game and you fight through like all sorts of like little spooky looking creatures. It has action commands. There's a really interesting like defense mechanic. It keeps the audience mechanic from previous games, but it plays them in like the form of a Twitch stream. Well, not Twitch. I think it's called like Battle Brothers or something. You have like an ongoing chat of like people who are watching the stream. And if like you're doing well, then you gain, more audience members and they give you bonuses over time. But if you don't do well, then like your audience gets bored and they don't give you anything. And there's like a sort of like Resident Evil style like equipment system where you can find items that give you attacks similar to the way that badges did in like Paper Mario games. But instead of just having like a flat number of like numbers to mess around with, you have like a 2D space that you can fit these items into that will give you available attacks. I actually played a little bit more than I did on the stream because I remember I was having trouble with like the defend mechanic. And it just turns out I was actually pressing like the wrong contact point on my fucking like space bar. So I was like pressing the edge and it wasn't going off on time. But when I moved my hand to the center, I was hitting it a bit more like consistently. But once again, this is made for controller. And like to the point where they actually have like the controller buttons like on screen as like cues. So it's not like really optimized for PC. But I got a bunch of weapons. I found that the three spirits, the things that were reading like haikus to us, were the three spirits that I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
And I got that sword. I also got a special ability that allows me to like pie the three creatures. And so like there's a lot of like weird goofy stuff here. You fight these weird like bee looking things. You fight these like roots. You have like druidic like attacks for some reason. And because Loaf is a flower golem, there's things that you can do to him that are kind of goofy. Like you can actually like electrify him and he's set on fire, which forces him to like run horizontally, but it means that you can run through obstacles and destroy them with like your now heated body. Or you can actually stand under a hydraulic press, which will flatten you, but it now makes your jump floaty and you can even glide for a distance, which allows you access to new areas. Jesus, what else was there? It was a big demo.
It was huge, because I was like, this is long. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but I got that sword. I eventually finished exploring the mines. And once you catch up to the raccoons that took the car keys, apparently they stole the car keys because their boss, who's also like a raccoon and like they look up to him, stole a like vase that seems to be cursed in some way. And like the vase is like consuming all their attention. They just like stare at it and occasionally talk to it and whatnot. And so like you go down there to see what's going on with the vase. And it turns out like the vase is like housing some like malevolent spirit that is like, possessing the leader or whatever. So you have to fight that. And then it looks like how like at the end of 1,000 Year Door where you fight like possessed Peach and then you fight like the malevolent like demon queen thing.
Mm-hmm.
You fight that, but it also like turns the whole perspective of the camera. So now you're like looking from behind Loaf and Lint directly at the thing.
Oh.
That's the camera angle for the fight. It looks really cool. It messes with some of the abilities. Like there's the ability where you like throw like the axe or whatever, where it like makes that like curve. It's a bit harder to see the trajectory as opposed to like the 2D viewing. But if they're willing to like play with perspective that way, it really has me interested in what else they'll do for boss encounters. And I want to see more of that. Born of Bread looks like something that's going to be a really great paper-like video game. Their demo is also available on itch. I don't know if they have a release date yet, but I am watching with bated breath. And I played Fate Tactics. Fate Tactics came out last year, and it's still sick. I played a level where I had to fight some crazy-ass tentacle fish dragon thing, and I nearly died. It really came down to the wire. And I do play a glass cannon team, so like that's my business. Usually how that goes. But I just got to shout out the goodest boy Chico, who protected my entire squad until I could kill the thing. And that was really fucking cool. Shout outs to Fate Tactics. More people should play it. The last thing that I have is I want to yell about Final Fantasy XIV's FanFest. I was big sad about it initially because this was the year that me and like my raid group were going to go. And it was going to be our big like first in-person meeting. We're all going to see each other and shake hands and get smashed and like do Final Fantasy things. But the pandemic happened. Rip us. And so we didn't get to go in November, but they gave us the first announcement, which like showcased the new healer class Sage. And they were saving another melee class that was going to show up in May, and we got that, which is Reaper. And Reaper looks cool. It's kind of cheesy, to be honest. Like, you know, you're a big, edgy side dude, but you have a stand.
Wait, like a JoJo stand?
Like a JoJo stand.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you can, like, absorb the JoJo stand into yourself as, like, I don't know, maybe some 2-3 minute cooldown for, like, a huge damage buff or something. That's what it looks like. And then they showcased the trailer for, like, the new expansion that's coming this fall, which is Endwalker, which is going to be the end of Final Fantasy XIV. It's been 10 years, so, you know, well-deserved. And it looks fantastic. It looks really, really cool. They've introduced, like, all sorts of characters, and it looks like they're really tying them off, and everyone gets their big moments. They told us that they're finally putting a server in Oceania, which means we have to stop making fun of the Australians, because they've had to play on, like, the Japanese servers for, like, 8 years, which means they could never get good ping no matter how good their internet was. But now they're getting their own servers, but they are being set up remotely, so they still might be a little jank, but who knows? We'll see how that goes.
I mean, they can't be worse.
They can't be worse. That's true. Like, there's no way. They showcased some of the pre-order stuff. They had, Brian, you're going to hate this. They had, you know, some pre-order digital goodies that you could buy at the FanFest. Some physical, like I bought the Estola figure. I'm not ashamed. And I also saw that they had some cosmetics on offer for, like, in-game. Like, you could get an earring. You could also get a different earring for, like, pre-ordering the game. You could also buy a special, like, mount. It's like a flying whale that you can fit 8 people on. They were charging $35 for it.
That's not so bad.
Oh.
Oh, did we just have very opposite reactions to that? Because I'm like, oh, that's not so bad.
Brian is absolutely not down for a $35 in-game mount for 8 people. He doesn't want it. I get it.
But that's like a whole raid party, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a whole full party. Yeah, it's 8 people.
Now everybody doesn't need a mount. Only one dude does.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, everybody has mounts, but the 8-person mount is definitely a different vibe. Also, I'm not even sure if there is an 8-person mount besides that one. I think that's the first 8-person mount. But yeah, they announced that the game's coming. They gave us a specific date. The game will release on November 23rd, 2021. Early access will start on the 19th. So, you know, don't ask me to do anything on Thanksgiving because you know what I'll be doing. They released the pre-orders for the standard and collector's editions of the games. Standard edition is going to be $40. Collector's is going to be $60. Collector's is already sold out in North America, Europe, and not South America. Maybe Japan? I can't remember. The collector's box, which is just a physical box of goodies related to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, is also going to be for sale, which is going to retail at $140 in United States dollars.
Reasonable. Also,
the biggest news that they brought us is that they're finally going to let you make male bunny boys. Going into Shadowbringers, they added 2 new races to the game, which were Rothguards, which are big lion men, and Viera, which are slender bunny women. But they are adding male Viera going into Endwalker. Confirmed. So bunny you can do that.
They're really going to end this game?
Yeah, they're ending it.
Like taking servers down and everything?
Looks like they're probably going to get to like 6.5, which is like maybe another 18 months of support post Endwalker. They're saying they're not going to do any more named expansions. That's what they said. For sure. So servers will probably go down eventually, but maybe they won't because, you know, Final Fantasy XI servers are still up. And they just got like content like last year, if I remember correctly. But they said that Endwalker is going to be the end of like the main story quest as we know it for the character that we've been playing for the past 10 years. So like whether that means there's going to be a new story or a new protagonist or something else, I guess that's currently unclear, but they definitely stated that Endwalker is going to be the end of the Warrior of Light's journey, which is the character that you make when you make a character in Final Fantasy XIV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that this means that, like, another MMO Final Fantasy is around the corner?
I think it's a hop and a skip. What'll probably happen is that Final Fantasy XVI will get finished, and then it'll be out. And then they'll start rumbling about a new MMO, and then maybe a couple years down the line, we'll have Final Fantasy XVII, the new MMO. Like, that seems to fit the pattern of what they've been doing. But, like, I mean, they're adding new housing, which is, you know, that'll get scooped up pretty quick. I realize now it's in Ishgard. I thought it was going to be in, like, the new area, like, where the expansion's happening, but it's not, so I'm less excited about housing there now. and they're adding a farming simulator to it. There's going to be a new farming simulator in Final Fantasy XIV that's coming with Endwalker. So that'll probably get supported for some time, and maybe that'll lead to something else. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Oh, fuck yeah. You know what I've been doing for the past 2 days, Tegan?
What?
Remember when I sent you the trailer for Endwalker?
Yeah.
Also, these fucking trailers, they're always like 5 minutes long. This one's 6. This one's 6 minutes on the dot. There's music that plays throughout, and historically, they have hidden story bits in the lyrics of the music.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, because there are characters talking or like other flashy things happening on the screen, it's harder to transcribe the lyrics. I've been spending the past 2 days playing this song on repeat, talking to people on Reddit, trying to figure out what the lyrics to this 6-minute track is. And, like...
Hell yeah.
I'm only, like, 63% through it, I think. There are, like, huge gaps that I can't account for. But I am becoming more confident in my transcription as the days go on.
I'm excited for you. Sounds like you're about to have a lot of fun.
It's gonna be great. And, like, my raid group, they're talking... Because, so... Reaper, right? Which is a new melee DPS class. Mm-hmm. Which is... Actually, like, we haven't gotten a new melee DPS class since Stormblood, which was Samurai, right? So currently there is Monk, Ninja, Samurai, and soon-to-be Reaper. But Monks share gear, for the most part, with, like, other melee classes. Like, Monk and Samurai share gear. Ninjas are kind of different because they sort of share accessories with, like, ranged physical classes. Like, bards and, like, machinists, the guys that use guns. Mm-hmm. But Dragoons, which were originally introduced in A Realm Reborn, haven't shared gear with anyone in, like, the entire history of the game. So, like, it made, like, Dragoon mains kind of, like, be on an island by themselves. And it also didn't help that, like, Dragoon was, like, one of the more popular classes, so there were a lot of people that, like, didn't play it very well, and they got a bad reputation for it. Mm-hmm. But Reapers are the first class to share gear with Dragoons. And so, like, we're going to have a bunch of people on day one that not only jump to the new class because that happens, but, like, are already, like, pre-geared. So we're going to have people that are, like, basically going to be, like, an endgame gear on day one in Reaper, like, for Reaper, but they'll probably, like, not have the right, they won't have the endgame weapon. God, I wonder if they're going to make it so that Reapers can get a scythe from fucking Eden. That sounds insane. Whatever. I'll think about that later. But we're going to have a bunch of people that are going to show up in, like, the best gear, but, like, have no idea how to play Reaper. And it's gonna be a mess for, like, the first, like, 3 weeks where, like, if I decide to play with randos, I'm not going to be able to get anything done. And that's going to be kind of trippy. But, like, I also, like, I really want to see what's going to go on with the story. Because, like, Astinian is, like, so he's riding on a dragon, right? And it's supposed to be, like, one of, like, the last of, like, the first brood, like, where all dragons came from. And no one even knew where it was. And it's just all, suddenly Viture's here? What the fuck is this? And, like, there's some weird, like, sort of calamity that's taking over the entire planet because Fan Daniel, who's, like, the last of this weird immortal race, has decided we're gonna burn the whole world down so we can create the perfect battlefield for my leader, Xenos, which is a guy who I thought was dead until about 3 months ago. And then apparently everyone knows that the protagonist is just on the moon for some reason. Like, that's just a thing that everyone's fucking cool with.
He's
like,
just on the moon.
like everyone just kind of looks up like, I hope you're safe up there, bro. And I'm like, why the fuck am I on the moon? And I don't know. But I'm going to find out Thanksgiving weekend, I guess.
I can't wait for you to find out. I look forward. I want to see it live. Can you stream it?
I will. You know what? I will make a commitment here today, May of 2021, that I will stream my gameplay of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker.
Hell yeah. Can't wait.
Why the fuck am I on the moon? Also, like this song, like the music slaps. And, like, the fucking 6-minute trailer, like, you know, they weave in the themes from, like, the past, like, 5 expansions. Like, it was so beautiful.
It was a really good trailer, Brian. Like, even if you have no intention of playing, like I don't, I recommend you look at it because it was beautiful.
Time distilled, oaths fulfilled, now we want for freedom. Like, I fuck with these fucking lyrics. I love this so much.
It's good.
But yeah, that's all my stuff. Brian, what have you been up to, man?
There was a week on the show where we were kind of like doing a bit talking about how Steam's game recommender thing has gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
And how like it's able to read your existing library of games, read like what kind of stuff you like to play, both mechanically and aesthetically, blah 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 blah. Like how Steam's recommender bot is like better than it was like say 2 years ago, where it was like, I don't know, why don't you just play Call of Duty?
Right.
And you're like, well, nobody here wants to play Call of Duty, sir. This is an Arby's.
Yeah.
And like when we did this bit on the show a few weeks ago, it recommended to me that I play a game called Spooky Starlets, which was like a management sim about running a porn studio where all of the employees at the porn studio are monsters, like vampires and werewolves and so on.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Right. I believe it was Rocky's like, they've got you fucking nailed, sir. And I'm not going to fight the accusation. But it did cause me to tumble down like a hole of writing at Vice and Kotaku and Fanbyte about the changing landscape of H games and how like they're on balance a lot better now, and how a lot of it is that like what's happened is that like people who were kind of just like fucking around with it on Patreon have like fallen off, and so like what's left are like people who are interested in like serious game development who just happen to be making H games and stuff like that. And as like the people who buy these games have gotten more vocal, I guess like no longer like sitting cowering in their offices and bedrooms being like, oh, I don't want to let anybody know that I'm buying an H game. There has been like a lot more sophisticated like product being offered to people.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I full on fell down this rabbit hole being like, okay, where are the tier of H games that like we would fucking full on talk about during Game of the Year? Like the ones which are that good. Because I remember a few years ago when I played Mirror, and I was like, holy shit, this game is incredible. I thought it was kind of like a one-off. This was an anomaly. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I started playing this game called Cloud Meadow. Cloud Meadow endeavors to sit somewhere between, what would be the best way to describe it? It's Story of Seasons and Pokemon, but with fucking.
I think that can be simplified to Monster Rancher with fucking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so too.
I'm glad you're like, okay, you're making this fucking too complicated, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe Monster Rancher, but with fucking.
Okay.
So in the game, you start as a farmer. The default names for your farmer are either Evan or Evie. You can change the name of your farmer. There's a lot of like further sophisticated designation you can do about like to refine your character. Is your character male, female, non-binary? How do they present, etc.? And then you start building your farm, and your farm is for somebody who like is a Skies of Arcadia stan on a giant cool fucking floating island in the sky.
I can see that.
Yes, Cloud Meadow. And as you start to like dig into the game has like these really like kind of like cool support systems that can like tell what your level of interest is in each system that is available. If the game notices that you're spending most of your time farming, there is an NPC that will show up and be like, hey, like I noticed that there are some dungeons nearby that have monsters in them. If you want, I can go clear the dungeons out and make town safer for everybody. And conversely, if you spend most of your time clearing out the dungeons, there's an NPC who will offer to show up and work on your farm. Things I like about it are the way the crop system interacts to provide like bonuses in both like combat, like in dungeons, as well as like the selling of goods that you farm in market. Like there's things that'll like give you like buffs when you're like selling your crops. They're really good. Like there's a really dynamic, and so far, like the game's still in early access, large amount of NPCs to interact with. I did immediately do the check to be like, all right, you're an H game, right? Can I just fuck everything? Is everything fuckable? The game wants to make very clear, like right up front, like, no. Much like real life, not everything is fuckable, sir. And I'm like, that makes sense. I like that. I think that appreciates that. Like, recently, Rocky and I played a game called Tender Creature Comforts. And at this point, like, I've done 3 full runs through Tender Creature Comforts. And I like the fact that there are characters in that game that no matter what you do, no interaction with them will like ever be positive. That there's nothing that you can say to them that will change the interaction. And it's like, that's good. Like, I think that adds like a measure of reality to it. And like, even in this game, Cloud Meadow, which is like so like strongly coupled to fantasy, making it so that like just the entire game isn't just some kind of like reservoir for your seed, I think is a good thing. Every character in the game that you can fuck, though, does pass what Tumblr likes to call the Harkness test. Tegan, are you familiar with this term?
I am not. No.
Okay.
The what?
The Harkness test, it's basically the ethical fucking test. It's like, is the character presented as being equal to or greater in intelligence than humans? Meaning that you're not, like, taking advantage of...
Right.
And does the being communicate in a language that can be understood commonly by every participant in the fucking, meaning that there's no, like, way for language to be misconstrued between the two, so that way consent can be commonly understood. And 3, is every character portrayed explicitly having communicated that, like, they are of age?
Sounds like a pretty good test, honestly.
Right. Yeah, and so, like, this was a term that was coined on Tumblr talking about, like, ethics in, like, adult fantasy material, and it's like, yeah, it's better when things pass the Harkness test. And the developers, like, were very committed to making sure that everything we do passes the Harkness test. I really like the character art. It's very silly. The reason that this particular one came to my attention was as I was, like, doing... like the reading on the rise of good age games, there is a character which is getting added in their next patch, which are jellyfish people. The ability to, like, in the ponds on your farm, raise jellyfish. And when they showed the art for the jellyfish people, which they've been working on now for like a fucking year, is like the jellyfish women very much look similar aesthetically to Mommy Milkers from Resident Evil Village. And it's like, no, they didn't just like fucking create this like character. They've been like showing off these sprites for like a year. But yeah, like I guess if you're looking for Stardew Valley but with a hard wiener, Cloud Meadow's here for you. Or if you're just looking for another farming game with like good combat, Cloud Meadow's good here for you. I will now entertain any questions on Cloud Meadow, so that way I won't just have been awkwardly talking about HD for 5 minutes.
Well, it looks like they're male and female presenting versions of all of the monsters you can fuck. Is that accurate?
Currently, there are some species in the game which are, by default, intergender. Like, if you fuck crabs, crabs' default is intergender.
Okay.
Yeah. To reflect that crabs are default intergender. But like dragons and cats and demons and cyclops and centaurs and cows all have like default males and default females.
Okay.
But crabs and chimera default to non-binary or intergender.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
I suppose we should put a link to the Steam page in our show notes.
This seems like a good idea.
I mean, it's an idea.
Yeah. Kaze and the Wild Masks is a game with significantly fewer boners, and by fewer I mean 0 boners.
Oh, okay.
Damn, 0 boners? Okay.
I know, it's a struggle. Kaze and the Wild Masks is a 2D platformer. I don't know how this fucker slipped under my radar, because it is 100% exactly my brand of vodka. It feels like if somebody who had previously only developed games for the Sega Genesis was developing a game for the Super Nintendo in about 1998, which is kind of a very, very good vibe. Like, the parentage of this game feels like Donkey Kong Country and Sonic the Hedgehog.
So you're telling me it's not Balan Wonderworld?
It is not. In fact, I specifically played this game to get the taste of Balan Wonderworld out of my mouth.
Oh man, these streamers better watch out.
It's very, very fast. The mask system is very, very cool.
Do they have any cool powers, Brian?
In contrast to Balan Wonderworld, all of the powers in Kaze and the Wild Masks are cool.
Oh, no!
All right. Yeah, get fucked, Balan Wonderworld, Jesus Christ.
Pretty much. Like, the music is great. The sprite work is fucking fantastic. Earlier, Rocky, you were talking about, like, how it feels when you're going fast in Sonic Omens and how there was, like, stuff and, like, kind of, like, just, like, the level topography that, like, breaks that. Like, the idea that it was easier to die than to get back to a checkpoint.
Right.
That is not the case. Like, the level geography in this game is very, very fucking good. It feels so good to go so fast. And then to just wreck shit, it's tasty. Kaze and the Wild Masks is available on Nintendo Switch. So if you would like to play this game on your toilet, you can. But it's real good. It's real fucking good. The music fucks. Music fucks hard. It definitely has that, like, that Genesis vibe to the music. But it does get hard. But you know how, like, there are a lot of, like, 2D platformers out there in, like, the current generation of 2D platformers where they're like, hooray, please play the first 2 levels, which are like a baby's toy. The game will then just fucking wreck you because there is no realistic curve to the difficulty.
I mean, isn't that why people can't name Sonic levels after green greens?
That is exactly why that happens. Kaze and the Wild Masks does not do that. Like a well-designed Mario game, there is a curve to the difficulty. It does, like, start piling skills on top of you where it's like, okay, well, to do this, you're going to need to do this and this. Like, it doesn't just say, like, put you in a position where you have to, like, string together every possible skill in the game at once. Like, it does a good job of, like, sequentially piling the requirements on top of you.
Okay.
So, very satisfying. Also played a game called Slash Quest. Slash Quest is a very cute top-down action RPG where you are a girl on a farm and the queen has been dethroned by ne'er-do-wells, and the reason that the queen can't fight back against the ne'er-do-wells is she does not have her magic sword. You are in possession of the magic sword, and the magic sword, which can talk, is trying to get you to return it to the queen, so that way the queen can overthrow the invaders. Now, the magic talking sword gets longer every time you kill an enemy. There is some, like, really, like, fun mechanics about, like, how to navigate levels, because, like, your sword will become, like, so, like, gigantic and wibbly wobbly that, like, just getting around is, like, kind of challenging. It's definitely, like, a game which, like, mechanically relies upon goofiness, but doesn't do so to the point of, like, making the game not fun. I want to point to a game which does this badly and a game that does it well, as points of reference for the listener.
Alrighty. I
don't think that Surgeon Simulator is a fun video game, right? Because you're not able to, like, effectively do the thing that the game asks you to do at all, that, like, really all you can do is, like, fail it over and over again on stream and go, like, ha ha ha, I guess I can't take this heart out. And it's not fun. But I think that Octodad is a game which, like, uses goofiness as part of its, like, core mechanics, but then makes it possible to do the things that the game, like, asks you to do. And then, like, somewhere sitting on, like, the scale that I can't quite measure is getting over it with Bennett Foddy, you know, where...
Oh, it's not fun. That game is not fun, and it is fun to watch people fail at on stream, but it is not fun to play.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, Slash Quest, like, seems much more, like, on the Octodad side of the scale, where, like, the things that the game is asking you to do are, like, entirely feasible to a human, but are designed to kind of, like, feel mechanically funny.
Right, because you are an octopus trying to pretend to be a human.
Right. And like, here it's like, your sword just keeps getting longer. Now, periodically, you'll encounter things that cause the sword to get shorter again. Like, you'll, like, reach these, like, magical locks, which are unlocked by, like, putting the sword in them and turning. And when you do that, like, that causes the sword to, like, get shorter again, because the game realizes that there comes a certain point where the length of the sword would just be, like, so preposterous that it would, like, stop being fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do a good job with like the level design to be like, okay, if this sword gets much bigger, this isn't fun anymore, so we're going to have to put a lock here that you have to unlock the sword and to kind of like start the process over again. Lots of cute NPCs. Like in between levels, you have like a camp you go back to, and there's like a blacksmith and such. Like your standard RPG tropes, so like the people who like help build you up between like dungeon pushes. And all of those characters are well designed. Like lots of good quips from your sword. If you're going to have a game with a talking sword, it better not suck that the sword talks. Very colorful. The aesthetic of the game really reminds me of like, I think it has a very like Cartoon Network vibe, if that seems right.
For sure.
Yeah. So like a lot of fun. I'm not sure of everywhere where Slashfest is available. I think it might right now still only be in Apple Arcade. But if you do have Apple Arcade, if you're like one of our 2 listeners with Apple Arcade, download this. It supports controllers and is a good time. I also played a game called Knights of San Francisco, which is a part of a genre of games which pretty much only exclusively exists on phones. People generally call them like game books. And the last one of those I like really was like super in love with was like, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. Like before the start of the show, there was a game called like 80 Days. And like, I'm absolutely in love with 80 Days. It's a fantastic game. And I started reading some reviews of Knights of San Francisco that compared it to 80 Days. And I was like, oh. And then I heard that Knights of San Francisco had a sanity mechanic. And I said, oh. And so then I started to play Knights of San Francisco. Knights of San Francisco is a game where the protagonist is traveling to post-apocalyptic San Francisco. And I think it'd be fair to call this like post-apocalyptic San Francisco. You know how like Horizon Zero Dawn is post-apocalyptic, but like it's so post-apocalyptic that by that point, like the world has started to blossom again and there's like green stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So this is like that. The main character is traveling to San Francisco because he is seeking revenge against his brother. He wants to like, the reason he wants revenge against his brother kind of like unfolds as part of the narrative throughout the story. But he's seeking his brother, you know, whether he wants to just like yell at him or kill him or what is not quite clear from the start. In fact, like at the start of the game, like you're just like, he's looking for his brother. And like, it's not even clear that the reason he's looking for his brother initially is revenge. And in this game, it is a world with like goblins and trolls and orcs that populate this world in addition to humans. And like the ruins of old San Francisco are one of the more populated areas in the world. And San Francisco is home to the tallest building in the world, which is, when you start to like look at the art in the game, very clearly the Transamerica Pyramid in San Francisco. You're like, oh, it's the Transamerica Pyramid. And so our protagonist believes that his brother is somewhere in the upper floors of the Transamerica Pyramid. And so he is like making an ascent up the building. And it's pretty fucking cool. Like your character is a necromancer, but you can only have with you like one revenant at a time. And so like the narrative changes depending on like whether you have a revenant or not, or who is your revenant. Also, at the beginning of the game, you have to like choose what kind of handicap you're going to give your player, which will interact and like change how the world interacts and reacts to them, which is pretty cool for the narrative. Like I went with my character having a wooden foot that like at some point my character had like lost their left foot, and so now they had a wooden foot, which would like reduce like my character's like movement speed, but it meant that for the most part that like when I talk to people, they wouldn't like shit on me. But like there was like one that was like your character has a horribly disfigured face, and so like most people are less willing to talk to you. There's like a variety of like impediments that you can pick. It very much has the feeling of like playing one of those old D&D single player modules.
Right.
Yeah, like it very much has that feel. I'd say that it probably takes about 2 hours to do like a single playthrough of this game if like you're sitting there and like sticking with it. And it's a lot of fun. Like the music's pretty good. Like there's a lot to explore. There's a lot of story. And like when you do enter into like combat situations, the way it like handles like the dice rolling is like very transparent. And so, like, the way your character interacts with, like, their stamina stat is, like, re-rolling dice. Like, re-rolling dice uses stamina, but there's, like, things that you can do to regain stamina. Like, stamina will, like, as long as you're, like, eating and resting, you'll, like, naturally regain it over time.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it. Like, there's not a lot of games out there, like, right now, which I think, like, embrace a black and white aesthetic and do it well. This game's very, very clean. I don't know if either of you have ever, like, fucked with the, like, literary magazine McSweeney's, but it feels like the game equivalent of picking up an issue of McSweeney's. Yeah. If you are a fan of tabletop role-playing, Nights of San Francisco will, like, also appeal to you. It has this, like, very, very strong, well-designed, well-considered world that feels like exactly the kind of thing that I would want to sit down at a table with other people and roll dice for like 4 hours a week. Like it has that kind of like taste to it, and being able to engage it with this way, kind of like, I guess, run through the one campaign over and over again and like changing things about myself to see like what other parts of the world were out there has been satisfying. Yeah. So I guess like to circle back to Kaze and the Wild Masks and Slash Quest for a second, part of the reason why I specifically played those games was they were games that were featured recently at the Brazilian Indie Game Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed coverage of the, and I love the name of it, the Big Festival. Like, that's fucking great. You know, like, if you could do that with your acronym, go for it. So the Big Festival kind of, for me, like, underscored that it appears to be, like, at this point that the Brazilian game development scene is robust enough that we should be paying as much attention to it as like the European, North American, or Japanese development scenes. It feels like at this point, like the Brazilian and Chinese development scenes are like fucking huge and for the most part overlooked by North American game players. Like there was a trailer in the last 2 weeks for the game Lost Souls Aside, which is a Chinese game. But I think that unless you're, Lost Soul Aside. I think that unless you've been following that game, it's something that like completely fell under your radar, and it looks really cool. But the Big Festival like featured a whole bunch of games that really looked like absolutely like fascinating. Like some of the ones that like jumped out at me was there was a game called Cartomante, which is a visual novel where the player is a fortune teller, and the whole like mechanic of it is like you doing tarot readings for your customers.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
That sounds really neat, actually.
Yeah, and like the aesthetic of the game is like super cool. It has like this gigantic amount of content, but like an individual playthrough of Cartomante is designed to like run you about like 15 minutes. But they said that like depending on like, you know, like the different choices that you make and what customers that you encounter, that like there's over 30 different endings to the game. The idea of like a game that I guess lends itself so neatly to being played over and over again sounds really attractive to me, because like normally the prospect of like playing a game over and over again requires like significant commitment of time.
Mm-hmm.
But if this game has like 30 different possible endings, but the average playtime is 15 minutes, then that means that like I could conceivably see just about everything in about 7.5 hours. That sounds really, really satisfying, because like I know I haven't seen every ending for Nier Automata. I just haven't, you know, because some of those endings like require you to put in like a lot of time before it causes them to pop. Also saw a game called Inso, or I guess this is a case where like Tegan can tell me how to say this right, because the word that they're going for is ENSO, and they say is circular form in Japanese. How would you pronounce that?
Enso.
Okay.
Denshitisho. Denshitisho is just Japanese dictionary. Enso. E-N-S-O. It depends on the kanji, but Enso is a circle that was painted with a single stroke in Zen calligraphy. So yeah, sounds about right.
Right. And so, like, this game is about slow parrying combat.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And it's, like, the aesthetic of the game is designed to look like artwork from the Edo period. It really looks like you're, like, wandering around, like, this beautiful old artwork. And, like, this game will fucking body you in, like, a single hit. Like, you'll come across an enemy and then get bodied. Also, this game is available now and for free.
Ooh.
Because this cool game was designed by, like, some grad students in game design in Brazil as, like, part of their, like, master's thesis. And they're just like, yeah, here you go. And they're like, we're not going to sell it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, you could conceivably make money out of this. This is neat. And so, like, even though you get bodied on the reg, because it's focusing on, like, this slow parry gameplay, it doesn't necessarily take everything from you when you die like a conventional Souls-like. So that's pretty cool.
Well, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
If they could stop doing that, that'd be great. You know?
Right. Kaze the Wild Mask was featured, which is why I picked it up, as was Slash Quest. There was also a game that jumped out at me, which is coming out soon, called Dandy Ace.
What kind of dandy are we talking about?
Colorful outfits, giant hats, that kind of thing.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Right. And Dandy Ace is very much like a mechanic which is going for that Hades vibe. So if you want, like, a roguelike about a magician who has, like, persistent gains in roguelike stuff across runs, like Hades or Dead Cells, but also, like, just this, like, wild aesthetic, Dandy Ace might be for you. There was also what was it called? Deadbound. It was like a Souls-like that was featured, which looked pretty cool. I'll defer to the judgment of people who spend more time in that genre. But, like, just as an outsider looking in, I thought, this looks neat. But overall, like, the whole show looked very, very cool. And it just made me think that, like, there's so much stuff going on in game development in Brazil, which is, like, a byproduct of, like, the weird conditions under which, like, gaming has grown up in that marketplace. Like, you know, like, the fact that, like, there were, like, legitimate, actually licensed games coming out for the Sega Genesis in Brazil through, like, 2016. The heritage of gaming there is different than what it is in most territories, and it is certainly reflected in their game development. And so it is worth players to dive into. Try some Brazilian games. And I guess the last thing I wanted to say is, like, go watch the movie Nobody. Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
What's Nobody about? Where do you go to watch a movie? Are movie theaters open?
I rented the movie Nobody on the internet.
It's a punchy movie.
It's very much a punchy movie. It's a punchy movie that stars 58-year-old Bob Odenkirk.
I don't know who that is.
For me, he is most recognizable as Saul Goodman from
Better Call
Breaking
Saul?
Bad. Yeah, Better Call Saul, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So he's the lead in this movie. And this is one of those movies that does, like, stylish, over-the-top, excessive, well-shot action. Like, the opening of the movie, so first we get, like, a close-up shot of Bob Odenkirk. His face looks like shit. His nose is obviously broken. He's got, like, dry blood on, like, half his face. He's got a black eye. And we see him, like, reach into his jacket, and he's handcuffed, right? And he reaches into his jacket, and he gets out a can opener. And then he gets out a pack of cigarettes, and he lights a cigarette. So then after he lights a cigarette, he then gets out a can of tuna, and he opens the can of tuna. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? It's this guy, this handcuffed man sitting in a dark room smoking, and he's just opened a can of tuna. And then he reaches back into the jacket and pulls out a little tiny Siamese cat kitten.
Kitty!
Who then starts eating the tuna. And then they finally cut to other people in the room, and they go, who are you? And he goes, me? Inhales a cigarette. I'm nobody. That's how the movie starts.
Dun, 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 dun.
At which point he, like, proceeds to, like, just absolutely kick the shit out of people for 90 minutes. And it's so fucking great. At one point, he sets a house on fire with a record. He sets a house on fire with a 45. It's fantastic. Strong reco. As soon as it's a cheaper rental, I would like to do a watch along for this movie. Or maybe even like host a watch along through Discord. Like I know we have all these features that we make available to our listeners, and I know I've not been the best about making use of them. I've been called out and shamed on that on our Discord, but that seems like that might be a good application of our time.
Who's calling you out and shaming you? Is it me?
It's probably us.
Yeah, that would make sense.
In this particular case, it was neither of you.
Oh, nice! Yay! We're not the bad guys!
But Tuan and Gata have both pointed out that I am not terribly active on our Discord. I was like, that seems like a good thing to do. Maybe get together and have a movie night where people can like all chat together. So that's a thought. But yeah, nobody. It's a good fucking movie. He shoots 3 guys at one time because they're all lined up, and they just go through the heads of all 3 guys. And I fucking loved it. That's this kind of movie.
Okay. It's a dude movie is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I don't want to gender action because that puts people who don't identify as men into a box. But if you want to see murder done stylishly, this movie's for you.
Okay. It's a stylish murder movie.
There we go. Do we have a call to action this week?
I think it's your call to action, actually, Brian.
I was just trying to throw it to somebody else because I've been talking for 87 years, but...
I mean, it's okay. It's your podcast. You're allowed to talk.
So, in the past couple of days, both IGN and Game Informer posted articles to their web pages which had links to humanitarian aid for Palestinians. And since they posted them, the parent corporations for both publications have removed that content. In the case of IGN, that's J2 Global, and in the case of Game Informer, that's GameStop. And I would certainly appreciate if you would tweet at those organizations and hold them accountable for removing that material. Somebody who I follow on Twitter and whose opinion I take very seriously, Rami Ishmael, has said, like, hey, it's great if you give money and all to various humanitarian organizations, but in this particular case, it is as important, if not more important, for you to use your voice, because there are people out there who don't have an ability to use a voice or whose voice is routinely silenced. So the only way to increase international pressure is for people who are not at risk for having their lives destroyed fucking raise their voice. So raise your voice. And in this particular case, since we are primarily a podcast about video games, go yell at these 2 companies who own these 2 publications and let them know that you're not happy. If you want a template, Impossible Coin has tweeted at them, and feel free to crib that. It probably would be better if you copy and pasted the text as opposed to just retweeting it, because individually unique tweets are stronger than retweets. And I think that's about it. Would we like to talk about the news?
Yes, we will do news. And Brian, ironically enough, you're first.
Oh my god. Well, I don't know how...
Oh, this is great. This is my favorite new episode of Impossible Coin. Brian talks about his passions. I'm here for it. Hey, that's a good thing. You're allowed to talk about things that you're excited about. That's what this show is for. Fuck off with that.
I'm excited about knife fights and gunfights.
Yeah! In your local Target store.
Jesus Christ. So Target is restricting the sales of Pokemon cards as well as sports ball cards from physical stores. And this follows an incident on May 7th where a gun got pulled in a Target parking lot over a fucking card dispute.
Love that. Love that for those employees who've been worked to the fucking bone during a pandemic Lovato. Good job there, citizen of the world, you fucking dickwad.
Tegan is doing her best Brian cosplay in voice. Like, it just...
I am! Was it good? I've been practicing! I gotta get it down for, like, the days that you aren't able to make it to the show, which are few and far between.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Is it good?
It is very accurate.
Yes.
But they're not even the fucking first, because Walmart was also like, Jesus Christ, you people. Stop. I know that there's, at this point, no Walmarts in Phoenix where you can get Pokemon cards because people are monsters.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's also had to impose limits
On their Happy Meals, right?
on their fucking Pokemon Happy Meals. And there is a picture that I put into the show doc, which adequately conveys the absolute horror. Some fucking monster. Like, how many Happy Meals are in this picture?
Oh, good question. I should have counted them ahead of time. So it looks like it's 3 deep, 7 across, maybe?
23, actually.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I mean, honestly, this should have happened years ago. Like, a decade ago. But the problem is, these retailers, and to a lesser extent McDonald's, have been cool with these random, like, movements because they've been few and far between. But, like, as, like, internet commerce continues to grow, because that's where, like, this weird black market distribution of, like, high-value cards are. And, like, you know, YouTubers who can, like, drop 6 figures on Pokemon cards as a joke to, like, pull something wild and then sell it back and make their money back. Like, since all these people have just been fucking around forever, it took one person, like, showing up with a gun in a fucking Target for anyone to do anything about it. Because they know that there's definitely these people who show up at fucking, like, 8 a.m. on a Tuesday when these fucking cards get restocked and just buy all of them at once and then leave. And, like, they'll just shrug it off like, it's good for business. It doesn't happen every day. But these people clearly have a problem. And they've always been like this. They've been like this forever. And just no one does anything about it until, you know.
And to be fucking clear, in the case of Target, before there was a gun in the parking lot, there was a knife in the store, and they did nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Jesus. There are multiple arrests that have been made nationwide related to, like, fights in Targets and Walmarts over Pokemon cards. Just why?
You're acting like you're surprised.
Do you see how much money that gets moved over these fake cards? And
they're not fake cards, they're real cards. They're just cardboard.
They are real cards, but, like, the idea that, like, these people, the people that, like, are willing to trade these, like, exorbitant amount of money over these cards, they are essentially, like, extremely bored people with way too much disposable income. The same way that, like, trading card games will pop up and, like, people will drop, like, 500 to $1,000 on, like, cards a week, just hoping to pull something crazy rare. Some of them are enthusiasts. I do want to say that there are people involved in these communities that truly love the things that they're interacting with. But, like, these people that act like this, or rather inspire this kind of behavior, are people who are just throwing money around. And they're fucking menaces. The problem is that they don't move in concerted fashions. And, like, the people that make the shit want their money, which, you know, I get, fair. But, like, there's real harm that, like, shows up all the time, but it's usually just not loud like this. You know, it doesn't get national coverage because everyone assumes it's just another random dude in the basement. But how many of those are there? And what happens when they all start moving at once? Like, ugh. Damn it.
Ugh. These people.
Hey, Brian, I do want to let you know, no pressure or anything, but you are going to be talking after this again. So, you know.
Okay. So all I'm going to say is this, world. Here's how we can make this place a better world and make people like these less successful in their malfeasance. We can remove the incentive to act like this. What does Brian want, Rocky and Tegan?
I would like to buy a vowel.
I would like an Xbox Series X.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
you would like an Xbox Series X because your Xbox crapped it. That's right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I want an Xbox Series X. I would like to play in the fancy future.
It's not that fancy. It's not that fancy. Promise.
Okay. I would like to play in, like, a future that at least just feels like a freshly laundered shirt.
That's fair. Okay, yes, that is accurate.
Because my Xbox One is clearly on its last legs. You know, like, the disk drive intermittently works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, like, I am not going to either A, participate in ridiculous, contrived fucking hoops set up by, like, retailers or manufacturers, to arrange for buying one because of, like, the market created by scalpers, or B, I'm not going to engage with scalpers. And was like, you know what? Fuck it. I guess I'll get one when I get one. If more people approached that shit to I'll get one while I'll get one, we would live in a better world. I want to applaud Tegan. Tegan has like these like little, like, I think they're like monthly Pikachus, right?
Yeah, I do. Uh-huh.
Right. And as I recall, I believe Tegan is missing one out of the set of monthly Pikachus.
I am missing May.
Right.
Anyone wants to get me a May Pikachu, I will send you whatever you want for free. I'll do it. I don't care. We'll figure it out.
But, like, what I was going to say is that Tegan has not participated in the hyper-fuckery of the secondary market for this Pikachu.
Not yet. It is getting tempting. More tempting every day. But $110 for a secondary Pikachu is just too much money.
Tegan, stay strong. I believe in you.
I'm trying. It's hard.
Yeah. Don't give in.
I'm trying.
This absolute fuckery. Fuck these people. Speaking of fuck these people, who would like to talk about Epic and Apple?
I mean, I think we do. I think that's part of our job.
Okay. So I feel like the timing on this could not have been better / worse. When we're like, you know what, let's take a week and do an interview episode because this is a good interview and it's about a game that we like. Then the floodgates opened and we got testimony and documents aplenty, which like said a lot about the gaming world. Hilariously enough, and I didn't include it here, the biggest thing that's so far surfaced about Nintendo is like Nintendo internal documents which say like, it's very important that if you are a game development partner for us, that you not be in business with the Yakuza.
Yep. Please don't be in business with the Japanese mafia. Please. Please. We would really prefer that. We got a brand we're trying to maintain, guys.
And maybe it's because the egg on somebody's face. I don't think this is directly on Nintendo's face because the last people who owned Atlas before Sega were in bed with the Japanese mafia, and that's what caused Atlas to implode. But anyway, all right. All kinds of absolutely wild shit have come out of this trial. Here's some of the highlights / lowlights. Tim Sweeney, big shitter at Epic, was presented 3 2-foot by 3-foot pictures on easels and asked to identify the objects on these easels. So first they showed him a picture of a PlayStation 5. And they're like, what is this? And Tim Sweeney was like, that's a PlayStation 5. Then they showed him a picture of an Xbox Series X. They're like, what is this? And he said, an Xbox Series X. And then they showed him a picture of a Nintendo Switch. And he said, that's a Nintendo Switch. And then I guess because he got all 3 right, Apple's attorney was like, okay, thanks, never mind. And just proceeded to abandon the line of questioning. So I want to open the floor to y'all. What the fuck was the point of this?
I think they wanted to try and prove that he didn't know what a game console was. And so he couldn't, like, make informed decisions about, like, what belongs on a game system, sort of thing. That'd be my guess.
Which I would say is, like, a specious argument anyway. I feel like there were some missed opportunities for comedy there, you know, like, here, what's this? Like, PlayStation 5. Oh, that's an air purifier. Like, Xbox Series X. Oh, that's a very nice refrigerator.
I mean, probably, but also, like, this is a court of law, so...
That's true. That's true. And if he actually knows that it's an Xbox Series X, to call it a fridge would be to perjure himself.
Yeah, and that would not be... That's bad. Illegal, I think.
Also to come out of this, Epic released a document, and I guess because they knew it was going to come out in Discovery, which showed how much money they paid to get various games onto the Epic Store as, you know, free giveaways.
Isn't it like none?
If by none you mean $11.6 million.
Yeah, like none. It was like nothing.
Yeah. So they spent $1.5 million to put Batman Arkham Knight on the store for free, $1.4 million to give away Subnautica, $1 million to give away Mutant Year Zero. The games which they spent the least on giving away included Metro 2033 Redux, which they spent 0 on. So I'm guessing there must have been some other deal that was going on with the publisher, and that like Metro just got kind of like thrown in as a benefit to that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because like having a $0 cost associated with it seems really weird. Rhyme was $45,000, and then like Super Meat Boy was $50,000. The really interesting part of this document for me was there was like a column that was devoted to cost per user acquisition. How many new people registered to download this game? And one of the things that was like underscored every time was that Epic was grossly overpaying for new user acquisition for like these AAA games. Like the cost per acquisition for like Batman Arkham Knight was like very, very high, but the cost per new user acquisition on indie games was like very, very low. There were like significant numbers of users like registering to the Epic store to download indies. The demand was real. And so it seemed to be like a reflection that in the current marketplace, AAA gaming is overvalued.
I mean, at least on the Epic Game Store.
There was also a hilarious email from Tim Sweeney to Yves Guillemot at Ubisoft, where I think he was simultaneously trying to eat shit while also trying to throw Ubisoft under the bus.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Dear Eve, I'm ready to apologize for the shortcomings in our Epic's Game Store implementation and our Uplay integration. In the past 48 hours, the rate of fraudulent transactions on the Division 2 surpassed 70% and was approaching 90%.
Oh, Jesus.
Sophisticated hackers were creating Epic accounts, buying Ubisoft games with stolen credit cards, and then selling the linked Uplay accounts faster than we could disable Uplay purchases for fraud. Fraud rates for other Epic Game Store titles are under 2%, and Fortnite is under 1%. So 70% fraud was an extraordinary situation. To stop the fraud, we disabled purchasing of Ubisoft games. We will make our best efforts to restore service as quickly as we can. This depends on a real-time system for disabling refunded and fraudulent purchases on Uplay and anti-fraud improvements in Epic's service. This work will likely take at least 2 weeks to complete. The fault in this situation is entirely Epic's, and all of the minimum revenue guarantees remain in place to ensure our performance. I'm sorry for the trouble, Tim Sweeney. I think that like him like releasing like internal fraud metric comparisons is like, man, fuck y'all. Like they're coming for your shit. Like when it's like fraud on our store is 2% or less and 1% or less for Fortnite. But for some reason, Ubisoft, like Division 2 purchases were approaching 90% fraud. Here's the thing where like I think that like Tegan and I can probably talk a little inside baseball. What the fuck is going on with your card processing?
Yeah, Jesus. It's just it's gotta be set to auto-approve everything. There are no people looking at those. There have to be. That's ridiculous. That's so much fraud.
I know. Like the thing is that when you start to see like dynamic shifts on like single SKUs or like say like IP address populations all moving toward like the same purchase, you're like, oh wow, like if you have a store, we'll call it a store on the internet.biz. If you have a store on the internet.biz and you start to see like concentrations of buyers who are all buying, say, a toaster, then you need to be like, what the fuck is going on with this toaster? And you start to need to like,
what's up with this toaster?
And you need to start identifying like characteristics, like are they all like paying with the same, like is this all like an HSBC credit card, or is this all coming from the same IP range? Like I cannot imagine letting that much fucking fraud through. Like how does that even happen?
Honestly, and sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's like, oh, this toaster is just trending on TikTok right now, it's literally nothing sometimes, but usually it is something. And it's something bad. Right.
But like when you have that back end of it and you start to experience the chargebacks, how does that fucking happen? Like how? How
did your system just like allow that to happen?
Under the hood, we don't know who's handling Epic's payment processing. We don't know who their merchant processor is. But holy shit, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Oh god, that had to be great. And by great, I do mean terrible. I do literally mean that was the worst. Somebody several people probably are about to be fired. Like,
You know,
there's no way.
Because if you think that Tim Sweeney is like eating shit in this email, he almost certainly had a phone call with his merchant processor. He's like, please, please, please don't put heavy reserves on our account or fucking cancel us outright. Oh, Jesus. Another fun snippet from this was that through the year 2019, Epic has spent $1 billion on getting games exclusively on the Epic Store. So, like,
That's $1 billion with a B, guys.
Yeah, they've spent $1 billion on getting exclusivity for titles for the Epic Store. This included $115 million for Borderlands 3.
Ooh. Too bad on that one.
I was going to say, like, I can't... If you were to try and, like, say, like, Brian, please describe the most, like, meh, forgettable, don't give a shit franchise you possibly can, asterisk, not Call of Duty or a sports ball game. I'd be like, all right, if I can't use those, then fuck it, Borderlands probably. Like, I can't think of a single person who cares about that franchise.
I know a couple people who care about the franchise, but, like, they don't... It's not the same. They're not built the same as, like, other fans, you know?
Yes, I just...
Yeah.
Ugh. And then my favorite thing was... And by favorite, I mean least favorite thing, was the day that Apple threw Itch under the bus, and then, in an effort to, like, try and, like, rescue the moment, then Epic got comfortable throwing Itch under the bus. Whew, buddy. All right, Apple's lawyer directly, like, insinuated in examination that Epic has no quality control and directly hosts pornography. And the reason that they said this was that because there's an itch.io launcher that can be downloaded from the store, which then, like, led to, like, a whole half day of testimony that was, like, ran in circles about the difference between storefronts and games, which was, like, where they had the big argument about whether or not Roblox is a game or a store and all this shit. And then they're like, no, it's a launcher. Oh, God. And so then Apple's attorney said, there are many games on itch.io. I won't even read the names out loud, but they are both offensive and sexualized. You're not aware of that? In questioning Vice President of Epic, Steve Allison. So after they went around and around for about 2 hours about whether or not there is porn on Epic's store, and, like, this seems to be, like, a fairly straightforward question, like, yes or no, like, is there porn on Epic's store? So, like, people can download a launcher for itch.io on the Epic Store. But, like, if you download the Itch launcher from Epic, you know, you still need to have an Itch account to use the Itch launcher. So you can't just, like, say, piggyback and use your Epic launch, and like, you need to have, like, separate payment credentials on file with Itch in order to use the Itch launcher, so you can't use any, like, filed, you know, payment credentials that you might have with Epic where you've used, you know, download your fraudulent copies of The Division 2. And when you ultimately do download a game from Itch, you are downloading it from their web services, you know, like their cloud hosting. The download is not coming from Epic. So, I don't know. Having heard all that, Rocky Tegan, do you have a vote about whether or not there is porn on the Epic Store?
There's not.
There's not.
Okay.
But also, I think everyone that is reported on this story is covering it wrong.
Yeah?
I'm interested.
Yeah. So I think that particular line of questioning, especially since they spent so much time on it, was a practice run for Apple. Because if you remember, for the past years, Apple has vehemently opposed any company hosting any sort of launcher of content on their store because they didn't want to accept responsibility for it. And if you look at this line of questioning as, like, Apple throwing their best arguments at what they could catch shit for if they had a launcher that they got in hot water over, that would explain them posturing around things like the Steam app in iOS, the Xbox Game Pass on the iOS App Store,
right,
and any number of other people that didn't have as much money as them, so they didn't make it to the mainstream news.
Right.
I think Apple, with this particular line of questioning, was trying to figure out what the judge and, you know, subsequently, like, the judicial system would hold them accountable to in that particular line of questioning. I think that's going to come up later, like maybe even years from now, as to like if, let's say, Xbox Game Pass somehow ultimately makes it on the App Store and something on Game Pass ruffles some feathers among like iPhone users. If they try to sue Apple over it and like they, you know, now have a new polished like counter argument that like allows them to skirt it, that may become the new normal. But currently it's untested. It's a legal question we haven't really measured in any meaningful way.
Right. Oh, I know that this is wishful thinking, and you can just go like, oh, Brian.
You know I'm all for wishful thinking.
I just wish all of these people were less selfish and less terrible.
So I would like it if they were less selfish or less terrible for like personal reasons, but I think it's important that they are selfish and terrible right now because they're the only ones that will actually fight over these questions and make the people responsible deal with them in meaningful ways. Like, if everyone was, like, cooler buddy-buddy about it, it's definitely true that, like, maybe we would just have a cohesive video game space where creators get to make the things that they want. But all it takes is, you know, one wolf in the chicken coop to fuck that up for everybody. But if the wolves are fighting each other, then what that means is that we need to figure out what wolves can do and what we're willing to tolerate. And that's the kinds of fights that need to take place in spaces like this. I don't think Apple v. Epic is really going to give us anything meaningful, besides the fact that, like, the judicial system that are supposed to keep them in line are woefully inept and unprepared for the eventuality of these fights. But maybe, just maybe, people paying attention to this will realize that they need to get ready. And if they do, maybe we'll actually get something done.
I certainly hope so. Like, I'm worried that, like, any ultimate ruling in this case is going to have, like, very limited scope and, you know, like apply only to Epic. And if what Epic gets out of this is like, hooray, you know, like a better revenue split and the ability for customers to buy directly from them on the Apple App Store, but it doesn't apply to anybody else, you know, like
that won't matter, I think. I mean, it would be great if they gave us a blanket ruling now, but if Epic wins, then like the other cases that have already been filed against Microsoft, against Sony, against Nintendo will also continue in earnest. And they have less money than Apple. So maybe there'll be a vulnerable point. Maybe something will actually tumble the whole wall down.
That would be nice. I just hope that there's not too many like bodies along the way.
Oh, well, you know, I'm sorry about that one, Brian.
Well, no, what I mean by like bodies along the way is like I could give a fuck if there's like bodies in terms of like these large corporate entities. But like right now, probably the best place for independent developers to sell video games is Itch. Itch already has like an amazing revenue share, and Itch doesn't impose like DRM on its customers, which makes it an attractive place to buy games. Itch allows for people to sell like a wide variety of products, including like like tools and resources for like tabletop role-playing games. Like people who like want to sell like rule kits for TTRPGs can do so on Itch. Like it's amazing the variety of stuff that Itch allows on their store. And like the main guardrails that Itch has in place are, is it safe? Meaning like, will it not harm customers' computers? Is it legal? And does it promote hate speech? And if you can pass those tests, like if you're not hate speech, if you are legal and you won't break the customer's computers, you pretty much get onto Itch, right?
Yeah.
Those are some decent guardrails. And what that means is that there's a lot of voices that get to like publish on Itch that don't really publish anywhere else. There was some conversation online earlier this week, you know, related to like this line of questioning around Itch is like that for Apple to reduce what Itch sells to the idea that it's some like pearl clutching, horrifying porno is ultimately exclusionary to like gigantic amounts of like Itch's user base. There were a whole bunch of queer voices who got real pissed off by this line of questioning.
Well, yeah, they should have.
Yeah.
Also, like, fucking Apple, like, pretending that they're, like, this goofy, like, puritanical, like, bastion of technology and, like, culture is fucking insane, right? Like...
Absolutely.
I remember looking at their fucking PowerPoint a couple weeks ago when it became public, and they're just like, Apple, we're here protecting security and users and making sure that everything that everyone gets is clean for family or whatever. Like, they might as well just be, like, jerking off Disney over there. Like, fuck you guys. Like, oh my God.
It's so gross. It's so gross. And then when fucking Steve Allison, feeling the pressure in the courtroom, says, Epic, quote, I don't support sexualized content of any sort.
I do feel like that was, like, very cowardly, but also, I saw that line of questioning. They weren't going to stop.
Oh, yeah. And it just makes me think about, like, various other, like, things which are kind of, like, cropped up as a result of this. One was, like, when we got, like, the internal documents released related to Apple and Netflix, holy shit. Like, I did not have, like, Netflix secrets on my Apple versus Epic fucking bingo card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We used to do bingo cards. I mean, no one used them or anything, but we did used to do them.
We did used to do them. That was a thing.
You know, you remember how, like, we brought back, you know, what came out of Steve's Day for a little bit? Like, maybe we temporarily resurrect the bingo cards.
Maybe what we do, we use bingo cards for, like, bonus episodes.
Ugh.
Every bonus episode comes with a bingo card.
Right.
Oh, that'd be fun.
When they were like, okay, here are internal documents where Apple is straight up begging Netflix to continue to allow users to pay for Netflix through the App Store flow, meaning that Apple's getting a cut of every Netflix subscription. They're like,
right.
And then when they straight up offered Netflix a special deal, they're like, we'll give you a better revenue cut than anybody else on the App Store, and we'll force Netflix onto every iPhone.
Yep.
And we will advertise for your service in the fucking Apple stores. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Because basically, Apple offered Netflix the deal that Epic wanted.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here, and I was just sitting there. Like, you ever just want to throw the whole fucking planet, Rocky?
Well, like, honestly, when Netflix made that deal, they had beyond fuck you money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there was no way they were ever going to be stopped. Honestly, I'd be willing to bet that, like, the moment they got that deal and they finally crossed that hurdle, the next thing that came out of fucking Tim Cook's mouth is like, we gotta do this, because I don't ever want to do that ever again. And then Apple TV was born. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to have to deal with this level of negotiation, this level of desperation from our company ever again. We're making the best phones in the world, and we shouldn't have to do this anymore.
So,
Get me a television station and put it on every fucking phone and computer and an iPod device you can imagine. Let's go.
Let's go.
So, like, and I have to wonder, like, was part of the reason that they wouldn't offer Epic the deal is that when they offered Netflix that, Netflix told them to go fuck themselves.
Oh, God, imagine. Dude, imagine having that much power.
Which is what Netflix did. Netflix said, go fuck yourself. Like,
God, I wish I was that powerful.
That's fucking terrifying.
Tip for game designers, make your BBEG that powerful.
Yeah, right. Make sure that you have the option to give them everything. Existential threat, everything you want is fucked. Here's everything you want. Here's more than everything that you asked for. And it says, fuck you anyways, get fucked.
Yep.
It's like the fucking Rorschach meme. It's like, and when Apple said everything could be mine, I looked up at them and said, no.
And said, it's still.
Yeah. Oh, God. Like, fucking Netflix is the Rorschach meme. Just, this court case. It's fucking court case.
It's a great court case. I look forward to it being
starts.
studied in law schools forever. Literally 200 years in the future. Epic versus Apple.
I'm telling you, like, if this was a class, if there was a class on the Apple v. Epic case, I'd take it every year.
I would too. You'd probably learn new shit every year. Fuck.
Yeah, right?
There's too much material. It'd be like a 101 to 105 class.
Oh, fuck. That sounds amazing, though. God damn it.
And we didn't even get into, like, all just, like, the little shit about the case.
Oh, you mean like the kids who show up on day one screaming racial slurs and free Fortnite and playing Travis Scott?
Oh, God, I love them.
And the fucking judge who doesn't know how Zoom calls work and doesn't realize he can mute people as they come in and they just fucking didn't? Or even how somehow their Zoom code, which hopefully had a password but almost certainly
did not,
got leaked somehow. And they got rocked by a bunch of kids. Oh my God.
Some kid's dad was like, okay guys, I have to do a very important Zoom case from home. And they're from the thing, but like, I know it's like take your son to work day or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the Zoom password. And he fucking jumped on Discord and went, yo, my dad gave me the password to a court case. Let's go fuck it up. Let's have an epic gamer moment. Let's go. Free Fortnite.
Oh
my dad's going to buy me so many V-Bucks after this to make me shut the hell up at home. It's going to be great.
There was other, like, just kind of fantastic stuff. The way that they described Peely, the banana thing from Fortnite, like it was some kind of, like, weird monster. Like, it's very important that we use a version of Peely here that has pants on. As if, like, Peely is some, like, H-game monster just running around Fortnite fucking everything. Just, like...
Listening to old people who don't know what they're talking about talk about video games is so funny, but like I am just reminded every day that I am closer to being that old person talking about video games that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You gotta use the power responsibly, Tegan.
Tegan, I am 41 years old and I am fucking plugged in on games. You'll be fine.
Oh, yay! Thank you for giving me hope for the future, Brian. It's very important.
I guess the last thing I'll mention about Epic versus Apple was, like, my favorite was the Tim Cook, I don't know this man moment.
Oh, gang.
Yeah, where, like, they had an email that Tim Sweeney sent to Cook, which was like, hi, Tim. Like, I think that you should separate curation from compliance review for the App Store. And so, like, Tim Cook does not respond to this email. No, he doesn't. What he instead does is he forwards the email to two other, like, Apple executives, Phil Schiller and Eddie Q, and he says to them, is this that guy that was at one of our rehearsals? Is it, I don't know who the fuck this man is. Like, who the fuck is he?
Oh, no.
And it's, like, flash forward to, like, 2021, where Tim Cook's ass is, like, sitting in court testifying about these fucking... This is amazing. I hope that I don't have any embarrassing who is this asshole emails sitting somewhere in my, like, 6-year-old email box. Like, Jesus. When I get called to testify about the world of, like, Brian Carr and his pizza deliveries in Dubai.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's like, but are you sure you don't know this Brian Cartwright? You clearly commented on his YouTube video relating to his work. That seems incredibly personal, Mr. Cartwright.
And you're like, oh wait, this is the Brian that I know his pizza order? This is pepperoni and onions Brian Cartwright? Fuck, yeah, I sort of know that dude. He gave out my email address 1,000 years ago because I have the superior email address.
Sir, are you sure you don't know this man? Here's an email that you sent to a personal contractor instructing the contractor to stay away from his wife.
I can't believe nobody fucking caught on at that point. Like, what the actual fuck? You have so much power, Brian, in the Brian sphere.
I mean, you don't have Netflix power, but you got some power, my guy.
You might have Netflix power at this point.
Oh, God. Is there anything which is not on fire?
No. This is just a smaller fire. So, something we haven't talked about in 1,000 years is Stadia. You know, we were all excited when Stadia was first announced, and then it fucked up and burned, and it was great.
Or are they still around?
Yeah, right? So Stadia's, like, still good, right? Like, why are so many people leaving Stadia's production? So, 2 weeks ago, when we were doing our interview episode, the vice president and head of product for Stadia, John Justice, completely left Google. Just peace him out. Didn't say anything about it. And in February... I don't think we covered this. Maybe we did. Jade Raymond left Google to form a game development studio called Haven Studios. And since May 4th, they have hired 6 members from Stadia's team across different disciplines for Haven Studios, including Corey May, who was the head of creative services and publishing for Stadia Games, and the former general manager, Sebastian Poole. And Haven Studios has received investment from Sony specifically to develop a debut game for Sony that's going to be an original IP. But Stadia wants you to know, Google and Stadia themselves want you to know, everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's alive and well here at Stadia, according to the marketing lead, Nate Aaron. Oh, God. And they're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean you're alive and well? And he says, Google is focused on delivering value for our partners and on behalf of our players. And then, will not elaborate past that. A different spokesperson said that when Google announced it was closing, the studio itself for new IP games, the company said it would be finding new roles for as many of those people as possible. The product team for Stadia is being led by Dov Zimrig, and Google isn't willing to confirm the number of people it's attracted with cloud gaming service to Stadia. But, they're saying, they're insisting that there is demand for new titles. Whatever the fuck that means. It just sounds like you don't have games on your system. They don't have games on their phone, guys. It's not a good look.
Okay, I have a variety of feelings on multiple permutations of this topic.
Yeah, go for it. I'm ready.
One, I really, really hope that Sony gave Haven Studios enough money to get whatever this game is going to be over the fucking finish line. We're going to call it the Death Stranding deal. I hope she got the Death Stranding deal. That just, lets this thing fucking get done. Because Jade Raymond is a very, very talented fucking game producer. Exactly. Jesus Christ. Will somebody please just let, the person who was the producer on fucking Assassin's Creed 2 just make a video game? This is not hard.
Well, I mean, the difference between Sony and Stadia is very clear.
Sony has money, and Stadia does not.
No. Stadia probably only has money. They
see.
definitely threw $100 billion at their games, but the problem is they have no savvy. When Jade Raymond says, "Hey, this is how we should make a video game," Stadia says, "Well, that's all well and good, but we got to do this the Google way. So help us do that."
Right.
And when Sony talks to Jade Raymond says, "Hey, we got to make this video game." It's okay, for sure. Here's a check. Let us know when it's done, and that'll be that.
Right.
We would like it to be a new IP, please. Thank you.
And to be clear, Jade Raymond's career as a person who make the video games includes being the lead producer on The Sims Online.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Directly reporting to Kojima on Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. She was a producer on that.
Excellent also.
Producing and directing Assassin's Creed 2, Bloodlines, Splinter Cell Blacklist, a.k.a. the one that people liked.
Relax.
Okay.
Splinter Cell's
okay, all right, how about this? Would it be fair to say Splinter Cell is hit and miss?
Yeah, it is hit and miss.
Splinter Cell's hit and miss, yeah.
Yeah, it either really hits or it really misses, and that was one that hit.
That's true.
Producing Watch Dogs, producing Far Cry 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Far Cry 4 was a good one.
Right.
It was a good one.
I like that one. That's my favorite Far Cry, actually.
She has an extraordinary track record. And then EA, in their fucking infinite wisdom, when they hired her, they're like, hey, this whole idea you have about this single-player Star Wars game? Nah, we're going to cancel it. We're shit-canning your studio. And that feels directly dovetailed to the EA financial disclosures that happened in the last week, where it turns out that 21% of EA's revenue is tied to the sale of, quote, $60 premium video games. 21% of their revenue. That's it.
Can you please define for me a $60 premium video game?
So when you walk into the Target and you make your way past the Pokemon knife fight and you pick up a copy of FIFA and then go to the counter, that's a $60 premium video game.
Oh, okay. I see.
So 21% of their revenue is premium boxed video games. The rest of their revenue is microtransactions and downloadable video games.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
So it makes sense that, like, EA, because, like, them firing her is, like, compatible with, like, their design philosophy. I am hoping that since Sony has so many eggs in the basket of, like, premium single-player experience, like, that seems to be where Sony is hanging their hat right now, that they will just let her have some fucking peace and finish this video game.
Yeah, right? Jesus.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to shout out another particular, like, Stadia embarrassing moment, which was that, like, also since we last talked about Stadia unveiled the premium deluxe feature search bar.
Oh, yeah, that's the value. They're delivering it to their customers. Now they have a search bar. Rejoice, or whatever.
Ooh, a search bar. Is it powered by Bing?
It's not even powered by Google.
The fact that the Google gaming thing didn't have a fucking search bar when their name is literally synonymous with, let me look that up for you, on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking stupid. That's so stupid. Do they realize how fucking stupid that is?
I hope they do now, but, like,
they don't.
I don't think they entirely
They
get
absolutely
it yet.
do not know how dumb that was. They have no idea. They're like, rejoice, players, for we are blessing you with the power of Google. And it's like, yeah, that's what I've been using my phone for the entire fucking time I've been playing your goddamn game that I don't even get to play because you don't actually have any goddamn games. Game system, no games. Fuck.
Remember when they wanted to buy you a $140 controller for day one access?
We almost did that.
It was for Destiny 2 and shit.
We legit almost did that.
God damn it. Fucking Stadia, bro.
I want to, like, a heroic tweet from friend of the show, Stuart Templeton, who tweeted directly to Stadia where he asked them, he's like, hey, is search on Stadia powered by Google? And because Stadia is bad at Twitter, like most things, Stadia, like, bothered to tweet him back. It was like, Stadia search is a robust searching solution. I'm like, wow.
But is
like,
it Google? Is it a Google search bar? We asked specifically if it was a Google search bar, Google.
Right. They felt compelled to reply, but, like, didn't even realize they were being dunked on. Lol.
Rip.
I definitely did, like, wade in there with, like, a picture of, like, an Ask Jeeves search bar and type in, like, what's a Stadia into it. But, like, Jesus fuck, like, Rocky's exactly right. Like, all they have is money. And it's just it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, if you are unwilling to recognize the market that you are attempting to enter, maybe don't enter the market.
No, let them fucking lose. I want them to get their shit kicked in. So that anyone else who wants just to, like, wade in on some bullshit will realize that's just not going to get tolerated. Oh my god. There's a couple ways that this can actually go. Google can crash and burn, and they can do so spectacularly, or they can do that quietly. Google has done both.
Right.
They could also, shut up and, like, try to do something and ultimately succeed. And then, like, we're going to have all sorts of crazy moneyed interests just trying to jump in and try to suck it up for a couple years and sneak on by. If that ultimately ends up in, like, desirable video games and a contribution to the industry and the culture, then sure, I guess that's fine. But my bet is that it probably won't. And, like, we're going to have people like KFC who get ultimately validated, who just throw bullshit at the wall for, like, decades until something works and then they cash in. Or, like, imagine if, like, other, like, ridiculously moneyed companies like Nestle get into making video games because they figure Google did it and then we just do it a little smaller, maybe it'll be okay. Or if, like, the new Atari Linux machine decides to, like, actually make a profit or something, or, like, their hotels are actually, like, solvent. Like, I'd rather have Google lose so we can skip all that shit. But that's just me.
I would like the Atari Hotel to succeed just because I think it'll be fun. It sounds fun.
It sounds fun if they do it right.
Well, yeah, I mean, the expectation is they will succeed because they've done it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, I want people who try and enter this marketplace who are attempting to find some aspect of it or component of it which is either, like, underserved or can be served in, like, new and interesting ways. Like, I think the Playdate is an excellent example of, like, how to enter the market. If you were to like Playdate's Twitter, it is nothing but like 900 zillion people being like, when the fuck can I buy this? When the fuck can I buy this? I want nothing more than to fucking buy this. Like, people want to buy it. And I think the idea of just like a bespoke object that just sits on your Wi-Fi and then downloads a new game once a week, every week, that, you know, is a short, small experience and then you're done, sounds fun. Like, it sounds like picking up a book on your nightstand stand. You know, like, it's a very set it and forget it kind of thing. And so they found a niche which, like, apparently has not been spoken to. You know, or in television, Amico seems to, like, be resonating with people in the same way. But, like, Google out here being like, hey, everybody, what if we were streaming video games at this incredibly, like, demanding bit rate, which is going to choke your, like, likely data caps? Oh, work harder.
Oh, that reminds me. That FCC app that I downloaded like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That does like a speed test. It's fine. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything terrible. Turns out I guess I have better internet than I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the upload's like nothing to write home about. It's like
right.
11, 12 every day. But like my download's like 230, like at least on the daily speed test that it does, which is kind of wild. Like my PC or my and my PS4 don't hit that. So I'm not sure what kind of packets they're sending, but they're definitely getting some crazy speeds.
It is neat. I definitely noticed, like, when I notice my internet dipping, my internet is definitely dipping. So that's nice. It's nice to be like, I'm not crazy. My internet is actually running slower right now, right? And it's like, yes it is. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted for purposes of historical posterity, to get the exchange accurate between Google and Stuart and myself. So Stadia tweets, good news! A search bar is now rolling out to the hashtag Stadia Store. Get a sneak peek into the next features coming to Stadia today. To which Stuart replies, hi, is your new search bar powered by Google? Reply, hi there, thanks for reaching out. The new search bar is specifically made for Stadia so that you can find your favorite games much easier. To which I reply, so let me get this straight. Google developed a blue ribbon search solution for the internet and then decided it needed to reinvent the wheel for Stadia? Maybe you should have reinvented the wheel for Google+.
Damn rip.
Yeah, to which Stu then replied, was it Bing? And I closed out by saying, in this house, we ask Jeeves. But yeah, like, I think we suspected that it was possible that when they rolled out Stadia, they would just quickly end up in the the abandoned graveyard of billion-dollar mistakes that Google has. But I'm so conflicted about like how I want it all to turn out, because on one hand, there's so few companies out there that have enough money to like enter gaming at the level of platform, you know?
Right.
So when one of them fucks it up, there's not many out there which have enough money to get in there to do it instead. But then on the other hand, they might behave like fucking Apple.
I mean, okay, so like, if Stadia bombs, another reason why I'm not afraid of like new platform holders, it just means they'll take like smaller bets and like be reasonable when they enter the space. Cause like Stadia decided we have the new killer tech, it's cloud gaming, it's going to change the world, we're going to win everything. And it just turns out that's not true. It's just fucking not. But like the television Amico shows up, hey, we're making a home console. It has a retro aesthetic. Games are going to be about $10, $15 each. It's going to be cool. Check it out. And that's really appealing to people. Like, they're going to have a market when that fucking happens. And, like, you know, stuff like the Playdate is entering the market on reasonable terms as opposed to, like, the new Atari, which is just, like, wearing the old skin of its predecessor, hoping that nostalgia will be able to get it over the hump. And it probably won't. You know what I mean? And so, like, if new people want to enter, I think the market has proven itself interested in, like, new opportunities. Just, like, don't pretend that you're going to show up and win the whole game when you don't know anything.
Right.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
The Atari VCS has been like a fucking debacle. An absolute debacle. At least they got those goofy little computers, those goofy Linux boxes out to the people who backed it on Indiegogo. All right? So I'll give them that.
Sure.
You know, they actually sent out the goofy boxes. But they don't seem to have manufactured enough supply for their retail partners.
Sure.
Yeah, like if you go to like GameStop's website or any of the other companies which are, have agreed to carry this fucking thing, it's still just like coming soon. So like
It's okay, Brian. The parts probably got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Okay, here's your live Atari VCS update.
Yep.
GameStop has updated the release date, and it is now an actual day. Let me look at a calendar. I want to see if this day is a Tuesday or a Friday. So if it's a Tuesday or a Friday, I'm willing to believe it.
What's the date?
June 8th.
Oh, okay, that's an actual day.
Not only is that an actual day, it's a Tuesday.
For sure.
Okay. Yep. And it says, if you buy this fucker, you'll get it June 8th. So there you go, folks. If you want to piss some money away, I know a Linux box you can buy.
If you want to piss some money away for different reasons, we have Patreon you can subscribe to.
That's true.
Actually, is that everything? Are we done?
That is everything.
Hey, everyone, this has been our show. It's called Impossible Coin. We do it every week. You can find us where podcasts are found, Yeah, except for SoundCloud, because, once again, fuck SoundCloud.
Fuck them. Bean beans.
There's music at the beginning of this podcast. It's produced by our very good friend, Big Sach. You can find his work on SoundCloud. It's at soundcloud.com/BigSachNJ. And if you want to drop him a line, you can find him on Twitter. You can find him on Twitter at Hillary_Swank. Our logo is also a t-shirt. It was designed by Laura Moran. You can find her work on Twitter at Laura Moran. And consider donating to her Patreon. She does the good work. And once again, like Tegan mentioned earlier, if you want to throw a couple bucks somewhere, you can throw them at us on our Patreon. We're at patreon.com/ImpossibleCoinPodcast. There you'll find our premium watch-alongs, our audio essays on things that we care about, like anime and wrestling, and other specific video games like the Dark Souls series or maybe Paper Mario. Who knows? We'll get it done one day.
Roblox.
Oh, yeah, Roblox exploration.
Oh, that's right. We are getting a Roblox exploration. That's upcoming. Get in on that.
There was some Roblox shit that happened this week. I'm sorry. I'm breaking the show. It's all I do.
Oh, my God.
Brian's here to let you know.
Terry Kavanaugh. Okay? Mm-hmm. Terry fucking Kavanaugh was like, you know what? Fuck it. And just made a game in Roblox.
All right. That's not to be confused with the Supreme Court Justice, right? It was like Brett Kavanaugh, I think.
Yeah.
The big man, baby.
That guy, like...
Yeah, he likes beer.
Yeah, he likes beer.
He just likes beer, guys. Oh.
Oh, my God.
Terry Kavanaugh was like, I'm going to make me an obby. And, I was like, oh, does that mean that somebody will actually now bother to write an article that defines what obby means? Which exactly is what happened.
Okay.
Obby is what the small children who play Roblox call games, which are primarily obstacle courses.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, I'm glad someone finally felt compelled to define it. The fucking awesome guy who made Super Hexagon and VVVVV has made himself a game in Roblox. It's called Climb the Giant Man, and it's fucking awesome.
All right, for sure. If you want to talk to us about, video games or any Roblox-related things, you can find us on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Brian's on Twitter, and Tegan's on Tumblr. It's on Impossible Coin. We got in early on those. Our Discord, our Twitch, and our original Patreon is also Impossible Coin. No dashes, underscores, anything weird like that. In fact, if you see something weird, let us know, because, once again, we're trying to deal with those. It's really important to us. But, outside of that, that's everything. That's us. That's the show.
I would love to do something with our listeners, which is I would like to play What the Dub with them. So please get at us on our socials and let us know when's good for you, or yell at us in Discord. I'd like to gather together as a familia and play a game where we can all be goofy together and spend some time. I guess if you don't want to, that's fine. You can just keep on listening alone in darkness in Oklahoma.
Be nice.
Okay.
They
you
have
can turn the lights
in
on.
Oklahoma. It's okay.
It's true.
It's Texas that lost.
We'll do some jackpots.
That's fair.
Hey, we got that back. Also, that's why we're not complaining about summer anymore. Right, Brian, you have to do the thing. That's how we get out of here.
You mean I have to say peace?
Yeah, and then I say bye.
I say later.
It's so